Agenda: City Council Regular Meeting, Folsom City Hall, City Council Chambers, 1st floor, 50 Natoma Street, Folsom, California, 95630. February 25, 2025, 6:30 p.m. Welcome to your City Council meeting. We welcome your interest and involvement in the city's legislative process. This agenda includes information about topics coming before the City Council and the action recommended by city staff. You can read about each topic in the staff reports, which are available on the city website and in the office of the city clerk. The city clerk is also available to answer any questions you have about City Council meeting procedures. Participation: if you would like to provide comments to the City Council, please fill out a blue speaker request form, located at the back table. Submit the form to the city clerk before the item begins. When it's your turn, the city clerk will call your name and invite you to the podium. Speakers generally have 3 minutes, unless the presiding officer, usually the mayor, changes that time. Reasonable accommodations: in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, if you are a person with a disability and you need a disability-related modification or accommodation to participate in this meeting, please contact the city clerk's office at 916-461-6035, 916-355-7328, fax, or City Clerk Department at folsom.ca.us. Requests must be made as early as possible and at least 2 full business days before the start of the meeting. How to watch: the City of Folsom provides 3 ways to watch a City Council meeting: in person, online, on TV. City Council meetings take place at City Hall, 50 Natoma Street. Watch the live stream and replay past meetings on the city website, www.folsom.ca.us. Watch live and replays of meetings on SAC Metro Cable TV, Channel 14. More information about City Council meetings is available at the end of this agenda. 1 City Council Regular Meeting, Folsom City Hall, City Council Chambers, 1st floor, 50 Natoma Street, Folsom, California, 95630. www.folsom.ca.us. Tuesday, February 25, 2025, 6:30 p.m. Mike Kozlowski, Council Member Justin Rathel, Vice Mayor Sarah Aquino, Mayor Barbara Leary, Council Member Anna Rohrbaugh, Council Member. Agenda: call to order. Roll call. Council Members: Rohrbaugh, Kozlowski, Leary, Rathel, Aquino. The City Council has adopted a policy that no new item will begin after 10:30 p.m. Therefore, if you are here for an item that has not been heard by 10:30 p.m., you may leave, as the item will be continued to a future council meeting. Pledge of Allegiance. Agenda update: business from the floor. Members of the public are entitled to address the City Council concerning any item within the Folsom City Council's subject matter jurisdiction. Public comments are generally limited to no more than 3 minutes. Except for certain specific exceptions, the City Council is prohibited from discussing or taking action on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. Scheduled presentations: 1A Resolution of Commendation honoring the Folsom Lake College women's soccer team for their back-to-back 3C2A championships and outstanding achievements in 2023 and 2024. 2A Resolution of Commendation honoring the Folsom Junior Bulldogs for earning the 2024 Excellence in Academics and Athletics Award. 3. Presentation from SACAG regarding the 2025 Blueprint Project, formerly known as the Metropolitan Transportation Plan/Sustainable Communities Strategy. 2. Consent Calendar. Items appearing on the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by one motion. Council members may pull an item for discussion. 4. Approval of February 11, 2025 special and regular meeting minutes. 5. Resolution number 11328, a resolution approving a City Council travel policy. 6. Resolution number 11330, a resolution directing the preparation of engineer's report for the following landscaping and lighting districts for fiscal year 2025 to 2026: American River Canyon North, American River Canyon North number 2, American River Canyon North number 3, Blue Ravine Oaks, Blue Ravine Oaks number 2, Briggs Ranch, Broadstone, Broadstone number 4, Broadstone Unit number 3, Cobble Ridge, Cobble Hills Ridge 2/Reflections 2, Folsom Heights, Folsom Heights number 2, Hannaford Cross, Lake Natoma Shores. Los Cerros, Natoma Station, Natoma Valley, Prairie Oaks Ranch No. 2, Prospect Ridge, Sierra Estates, Silverbrook, Steeplechase, the residences at American River Canyon, the residences at American River Canyon 2, Willow Creek Estates East, Willow Creek Estates East No. 2, Willow Creek Estates South, and Willow Springs 7. Resolution number 11332, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Mobile Modular Management Corporation for a 2-year lease of a modular trailer occupied by the Public Works Street Maintenance Division. Public hearing. 8. Resolution number 11329, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Folsom approving the issuance of the California Municipal Finance Authority exempt facility bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million for the purpose of financing or refinancing the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of Harrington Grove Apartments and certain other matters relating thereto. New business. 9. Presentation of findings from the roundabout feasibility study and direction to staff. Resolution number 11331, a resolution adopting new planning and design standards pertaining to the use of roundabouts as traffic control. City manager reports. Council comments. Adjournment notice. Members of the public are entitled to directly address the City Council concerning any item that is described in the notice of this meeting, before or during consideration of that item. If you wish to address Council on an issue, which is on this agenda, please complete a blue speaker request card, and deliver it to a staff member at the table on the left side of the Council chambers prior to discussion of the item. When your name is called, stand to be recognized by the mayor and then proceed to the podium. If you wish to address the City Council on any other item of interest to the public, when the mayor asks if there is any business from the floor, follow the same procedure described above. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Notice regarding challenges to decisions, pursuant to all applicable laws and regulations, including without limitation, California Government Code Section 65009 and/or California Public Resources Code Section 21177, if you wish to challenge in court any of the above decisions, regarding 3 planning, zoning and/or environmental decisions, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing, described in this notice/agenda, or in written correspondence delivered to the city at, or prior to, the public hearing. As presiding officer, the mayor has the authority to preserve order at all City Council meetings, to remove or cause the removal of any person from any such meeting for disorderly conduct, or for making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, using profanity, or becoming boisterous, threatening or personally abusive while addressing said council, and to enforce the rules of the council. Persons interested in proposing an item for the City Council agenda should contact a member of the City Council. This meeting of the City Council is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable system, and will be shown in its entirety on the Friday and Saturday following the meeting, both at 9 a.m. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.government. The city does not control scheduling of this telecast, and persons interested in watching the televised meeting should confirm this schedule with Metro Cable TV, Channel 14. The City of Folsom provides live and archived webcasts of regular City Council meetings. The webcasts can be found on the online services page of the city's website www.folsom.ca.us. In compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, if you are a person with a disability and you need a disability-related modification or accommodation to participate in this meeting, please contact the City Clerk's office at 916-461-6035, 916-355-7328, fax, or City Clerk Department at folsom.ca.us. Requests must be made as early as possible and at least 2 full business days before the start of the meeting. Any documents produced by the city and distributed to the City Council regarding any item on this agenda will be made available at the City Clerk's counter at City Hall located at 50 Natoma Street, Folsom, California, and at the Folsom Public Library located at 411 Stafford Street, Folsom, California during normal business hours. 4. City of Folsom Resolution of Commendation honoring Folsom Lake College Women's Soccer Team for back-to-back 3C2A championships and outstanding achievements in 2023 and 2024. Whereas the Folsom Lake College Women's Soccer Team has demonstrated excellence, determination, and sportsmanship, winning back-to-back California Community College Athletic Association 3C2A State Championships IN 2023 and Z114, marking an historic achievement as they became the first Northern California college to accomplish this feat since 1996, and whereas, the 2023 championship marked an historic milestone as the first ever 3C2A state championship for Folsom Lake College women's soccer, and whereas, in 2024, the Falcons claimed the 3C2A championship with a remarkable season record of 2 leaders wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws, securing the title with a victory at American River College in Sacramento, California, and whereas, in addition to their state championship, the Falcons dominated the 2004 Big 8 Conference, winning the conference championship and solidify it their place as one of the top collegiate soccer programs in California. Now therefore, I, Sarah Aquino, Mayor of the City of Folsom, on behalf of the Folsom City Council and the Folsom community, do hereby extend commendations in the highest regard to the Folsom Lake College women's soccer team, coaching staff, and their supporters for their exceptional achievements in 2023 and 2024. The city looks forward to celebrating their continued success in the years to come. Commended this 25th day of February 2025 Sarah Aquino, Mayor. This page is intention à la left blessing to facilitate double-sided printing QND minimize paper TRSE Folsom City of Distinctive BY Nature City of Folsom Resolution of Commendation honoring the Folsom Junior Bulldogs for earning the 2024 Excellence in Academics and Athletics Award. Whereas the Folsom Junior Bulldogs is an official youth football and cheer association in Folsom, and whereas, the Folsom Junior Bulldogs organization is committed to both academic and athletic excellence, and whereas, members of the Folsom Junior Bulldog football and cheer teams maintained a grade point average of 3.0 or better during the football and cheer season, and whereas, this level of academic achievement merits recognition from the Board of Directors of Folsom Youth Football and Cheer and the City of Folsom. Now therefore, I, Sarah Aquino, Mayor of the City of Folsom, on behalf of the Folsom City Council and the Folsom community, do hereby extend commendations in the highest regard to the members of the Folsom Junior Bulldogs who earned the Excellence in Academics and Athletics Award 2024 and encourage their continued scholastic excellence in the future. Commended this 25th day of February 2025. Sarah Aquino, Mayor. This page is intentiono.lly left blank to facilitate double-sided print QND minimize poperlt set. F. LSOI /City of Distinctive EY Nature Folsom City Council Staff Ort Meeting Date 2T2ST202S Agenda Section, Scheduled Presentations Subject, Presentation from SACAG regarding the 2025 Blueprint Project, formerly known as the Metropolitan Transportation Plan/Sustainable Communities Strategy, from City Clerk's Department recommendation /City Council action. Staff recommends that the City Council receive a presentation from SACAG regarding THE 2025 Blueprint Project. No formal action is requested. Background /issue. Mr. James Corliss from SACAG will provide a short presentation regarding the 2025 Blueprint which will outline the findings from the region-wide transportation and land use analysis. In addition, Mr. Corliss will provide a summary of the various SACAG programs designed to assist public agencies in implementing the blueprint locally. Attachment summary sheet from SACAG submitted, Krista Fremantle, CMC City Clerk. I Attachment 1 summary sheet from SACAG THSACOG Sacramento Area Council I of Governments 1415 L Street, Suite 300 Sacramento, CA9S8Q9 16.321.9000 Sacoji.org Auburn Citrus Heights Call Fox Dovis El Dorado County Elk Grove Focom Galtleston Lincoln Live Oa Loomis Marysville Placer County Placerville Rancho Cordova Rockland Roseville Sacramento County Sutter County West Sacramento LV Heatland Winterswood London Yolo County Yuba City Yuba County SACAG The Sacramento Area Council of Governments is where local government leaders across the region come together to advance the goals of economic prosperity, connected communities, and vibrant cities. SACAG works in collaboration with the 6 counties and 22 cities in the region to solve challenges that are too big for any one jurisdiction to solve on its own. SACAG plays a central role in transportation infrastructure planning and funding assistance for cities, counties, transit operators, and other entities responsible for providing for the mobile.ity needs of the region's residents. One of SACAG's main roles is the state and federal.ti recognized Metropole.ity tanning organization for the region, is to maintain the region's long-range, fiscally constrained, transportation and accompanying land use strategy. This TAN must be updated every 4 years in coordination with local government agencies and demonstrate how the region is working to advance local, regional, state, and federal policy priorities. SACAG is currently undergoing an update of this TAN, TID LHE 2025 blueprint, and anticipates adoption of the TAN in 2025. 2025 Blueprint FHE 2025 blueprint is rooted in local tanning. Both the end-use assumptions and transportation investments including used in the TAN draw from and remain consistent with city and county general specific TANs as well transit agency tanning documents. The 2025 blueprint differs from many local TANs in that it must be constrained by time and funding. Not Atlantic TAN transportation investments or end-use TANs would come to fruition within the next 30 years. FHE 2025 blueprint in many ways outlines a phasing strategy to help guide public policy decisions throughout the region. This TAN will lay out a set of strategies for an integrated, multimodal transportation system in a region and use development pattern that can create a more thriving region that works for its residents. The TAN aims to connect housing to jobs, education, goods and services, and recreational opportunities while protecting and enhancing our region's nature and working landscapes. Aside from this plan being a federal and state requirement, SACAG will use LHE 2025 blueprint update to help OCA agencies coordinate and prioritize efforts to attract greater investment in the region through grants, private investment, and economic growth while protecting our region's nature environment, existing economies, and improving quality of life for its residents. At the Folsom City Council meeting, James Cordes, from SACAG would provide a short presentation and answer any questions on the 2025 blueprint. The presentation would outline the findings from the region-wide transportation and land use analysis. Additionally, the presentation would provide a summary of the various programs SACAG has available or is developing to assist public agencies in implementing the blueprint to CATI. This page is intentionally left blank to facilitate double-sided printing and minimize paper TRSE. Folsom City of Distinctive BY Nature File 034-2125-001 Folsom City Council Minutes February 11, 2025 GD Council Special Meeting Minutes Tuesday, February 11, 2025 5 p.m. Call to order. The special City Council meeting was called to order at 5 p.m. with Mayor Aquino presiding. Roll call. Council members present: Justin Rathel, Vice Mayor Barbara Leary, Council Member Sarah Aquino, Mayor. Council members absent: Michael Kozlowski, Council Member, arrived at 6:10 p.m., Anna Rohrbaugh, Council Member, arrived at 5:05 p.m., adjourned to closed session for the following purposes: 1. Conference with labor negotiator, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Agency negotiator, Vance Piggott. Employee organization, Folsom Police Officers Association. Motion by Mayor Aquino, second by Vice Mayor Rathel to adjourn to closed session. Motion passed by the following roll call vote: ayes, noes, absent, abstain, Rathel, Leary, Aquino, none. Kozlowski, Rohrbao Nun reconvened. City Attorney Stephen Wong announced that no final action was taken during closed session. Draft not official L-Jaintil approved by the City Council. Page 1 File 034-2125-001 Folsom City Council Minutes February 11, 2025 Adjournment. There being no further business to come before the City Council, the meeting was adjourned at 6:30 p.m. Submitted by Attest Krista Fremantle, City Clerk Sarah Aquino, Mayor. Draft not official L-Jaintil approved by the City Council. Page 2 File 034-2125-001 Folsom City Council Minutes February L1, 2025 GD Council Regular Meeting Minutes Tuesday, February 11, 2025 6:30 p.m. Call to order. The regular City Council meeting was called to order at 6:30 p.m. with Mayor Sarah Aquino presiding. Roll call. Council members present: Justin Rathel, Vice Mayor Anna Rohrbao, Council Member Michael Kozlowski, Council Member Barbara Leary, Council Member Sarah Aquino, Mayor. Council members absent, none. Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Agenda update. City Attorney Stephen Wong advised that there were no agenda updates. Business from the floor. The following speakers addressed the City Council: 1. Ronald Carter. 2. Monica Merrill. Consent Lendar. Items appearing on the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by one motion. Council members may pull an item for discussion. 1. Approval of January 14, 2025 special and regular meeting minutes. 2. Approval of January 23, 2025 special meeting minutes. Draft not official L-Jaintil approved by the City Council. Page 1 File 034-2125-001 Folsom City Council Minutes February 1, 2025 3. Approval of January 28, 2025 special and regular meeting minutes. 4. Resolution number 11326. A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract amendment with Girardelli Associates for the East Bidwell and Lorne Point/US 50 on-ramp improvement project, Project No. PW 2203, an appropriation of funds. Motion by Council Member Kozlowski, second by Council Member Leary to approve items number 14 of the consent calendar. Motion passed by the following roll call vote: ayes, Rathel, Rohrbao, Kozlowski, Leary, Aquino. Noes, none. Absent, none. Abstain, none. New business. 5. Resolution number 11327, a resolution adopting the 2024 Local Road Safety Plan. Public Works Department Senior Civil Engineer Zach Bosch made a presentation and responded to questions from the City Council. Kimley Horn Consultant Zach Ramalingam also made a presentation. Public Works Director Mark Rakoven provided additional information. The following speakers spoke under this item: 1. Monica Merrill. 2. Ronald Carter. Motion by Vice Mayor Rathel, second by Council Member Kozlowski to approve resolution number 11327. Motion passed by the following roll call vote: ayes, Rathel, Rohrbao, Kozlowski, Leary, Aquino. Noes, none. Absent, none. Abstain, none. GITY Manager reports. Interim City Manager Dan Haverty spoke about the communications unit and the police and fire staff members who are developing a community outreach program to raise awareness of wildfire risks that will be coordinated with the OES and CAL FIRE outreach in May. He spoke about the 988 Service for Mental Health Crisis Support 24/17, free self-serve sand and sandbag locations. Folsom nonprofits can now apply to sell state-approved fireworks, and the open house of the Fun Factory and kindergarten readiness programs. He welcomed 4 new employees to the City of Folsom: Parks and Recreation Departments Hannah Perez and Matthew Treffery, Solid Waste Department Brandon Wetclow, and Police Department Police Officer Pre-Service Drew Romo. He also spoke about the milestone anniversaries of Parks and Recreation Department Amy Vandermolen, who obtained 30 years of service, and Police Department Kimberly Lim Watson, Parks and Recreation Department Cody Battison, and Public Works Department Billy Hilton, who obtained 20 years of service, and thanked them all for their service. He also congratulated 5 Folsom firefighters on their new roles: Assistant Chief Matt Blake, Captain Stephen Anderson, Captain Matt McCarthy, Engineer Tyler Smith, and Engineer Scott Vasquez. Lastly, Draft not official L-Jaintil approved by the City Council page 2 file 034-2125-001 Folsom City Council minutes February 1 L 2025 He congratulated Finance Department Liz Hanna, who was promoted to Finance Manager. He thanked all the individuals for their service and dedication to the community. Council comments Council member Kozlowski had no comments. Vice Mayor Rathel spoke about the chickens that were mentioned tonight. Council member Rohrbaugh spoke about a SAC-RT meeting and thanked Council member Kozlowski for his service on that regional board. She also discussed responding to the residents who use SAC-RT and their feedback. Council member Leary spoke about cleaning up trash with Mayor Aquino along the light rail, appreciated the information regarding the chickens, and wished everyone a great Valentine's Day. Mayor Aquino had no comments. Adjournment There being no further business to come before the City Council, the meeting was adjourned at 7:04 p.m. Submitted by, attest, Sarah Aquino, Mayor Krista Fremantle, City Clerk Draft not official L-Jaintil approved by the City Council page 3 This page is intentionally left blank to facilitate double-side D-printing and minimize poperlta FOLSO1RI City of Distinctive BY, Acher. IJT. L/LT IREAR, TRRD2 Folsom City Council Staff Re-RT Meeting Date, 2125120025 Agenda Section, Subject, Consent Calendar Resolution Number 11328, a resolution approving a City Council Travel Policy FROM, City Clerk's Department Recoation/City Count Action Staff recommends that the City Council approve Resolution Number 11328, a resolution approving a City Council travel policy. Background/issue Each year, the City Council approves an annual budget. During the FY 24125 budget discussions, the City Council approved an allocation of $6,600 for each council member's travel purposes for the fiscal year. Currently, the City Council does not have a policy governing travel undertaken by council members on official city business. Thus, travel and related expenditures are evaluated on a case-by-case basis without established guidelines that would otherwise ensure uniformity. Upon reflection, staff believes that a structured policy guiding the use of travel funds could be beneficial in creating consistent standards. Implementing such a policy would provide clarity, promote the responsible use of taxpayer funds, and ensure that travel activities support the best interests of the City of Folsom and its residents. Travel undertaken by council members serves several important purposes, including education, staying informed about current trends, and fostering collaboration. Participation in conferences, workshops, and meetings with other public agencies provides learning opportunities that are essential for effective governance. Such travel can lead to the introduction of new ideas, best practices, and innovative solutions gleaned from the shared experiences of other elected officials. These experiences can result in benefits for the City of Folsom by helping to identify opportunities for cost savings, improved service delivery, and strategic growth. Policy/Rule Folsom Municipal Code Section 2.06.070, c. provides that the City Council may adopt rules governing its meetings, proceedings, and business. Analysis The proposed City Council travel policy provides a framework that guides official travel undertaken by City Council members. This policy aims to standardize the practices associated with council-related travel, establishing clear guidelines that align with the City's commitment to accountability and transparency. By formalizing these practices, the City of Folsom seeks to ensure that City Council travel funded by taxpayer dollars is conducted with the utmost fiscal responsibility and serves the City's interests effectively. This policy is essential for reinforcing public trust and demonstrating the City's dedication to ethical governance. A core intent of the policy is the promotion of responsible stewardship of public resources. Travel expenditures, when managed properly, can yield significant benefits such as facilitating knowledge exchange, strengthening intergovernmental relationships, and fostering the professional development of council members. These activities ultimately contribute to informed decision-making and strategic planning that benefit the residents of Folsom. By encouraging the prudent use of funds, the policy supports only those travel activities that deliver tangible value and align with the city's strategic goals. The policy also underscores the importance of structure and continuity in the administration of public funds related to travel. Establishing uniform procedures helps prevent inconsistencies and reduces the risk of misunderstandings or misuse of resources. This structure provides council members and staff with a clear understanding of what constitutes an acceptable use of public funds. By creating a transparent, well-defined process, the policy aligns with best practices in public administration and promotes fairness in the allocation of city resources. Overall, the proposed policy is a step toward fortifying trust between the city and its residents by maintaining high standards of financial oversight. By prioritizing transparency, consistency, and accountability, the City Council travel policy will facilitate responsible governance and enhance the effectiveness of council members in their official duties. The policy reflects a commitment to ensuring that public expenditures yield a positive return, ultimately reinforcing the city's mission to serve the community's best interests. 2. At the January 14, 2025 meeting, the City Council considered a draft travel policy. The City Council discussed how conferences are identified for attendance, clarified how funds are allocated annually, and discussed what expenses are covered within the travel budget, such as transportation, lodging, and per diem amount for meals and incidentals. Following discussion, the City Council indicated conceptual support of the policy and proposed a modification to include per diem reimbursement in alignment with similar per diem reimbursement policy for city staff. Accordingly, the below language has been added to the proposed policy: 6 meal and incidental expenses. 8 travelers may request to be reimbursed for meal and incidental expenses, M&IE, for overnight travel at rates established by the U.S. General Services Administration, USCSA. This will be based upon the city/county where the lodging is located. If not listed as a key city, the current standard rate shall be used. When the USCSA per diem is claimed, a meal receipt is not required. In instances where meal expenses are in excess of the per diem rate, the city requires an original receipt along with specific details regarding the name, S, of the guest, S, entertained, cost, date, place, business purpose, and the business relationship of the individuals entertained. B. Proration of the per diem rate. The USCSA website, https://www.gsa.gov/travel/planbook/per diem rates, has a per diem tool that will calculate 75.0/0 for the first and last day of travel as well as the breakdown for meals and incidentals provided for the other days. See meals included in conference registration fee. Applicable proration of the per diem amount for the specific meal included in the registration will be deducted from the daily per diem claimed. D. Paid receipts are required for all expenditures not included in the daily per diem. Financial impact. The adoption of the proposed City Council travel policy is not expected to have an immediate or direct financial impact. However, the financial impacts associated with council member travel will be considered as part of the city's annual budget process. Each fiscal year's budget discussions will include a review and allocation of funds for travel, ensuring that expenditures align with available funding and the city's financial priorities. This approach allows for transparency and fiscal oversight, ensuring that travel costs are planned and aligned with the city's strategic objectives. JA Attachment Resolution Number 11328, a resolution approving a City Council travel policy submitted, Krista Fremantle, CMC City Clerk. For Attachment 1 Resolution No. 11328 Resolution approved view City Council Tiavel Policy Resolution No. II-328 a resolution approving a City Council travel policy. Whereas, travel undertaken by council members serves several important purposes, including education, staying informed about current trends, and fostering collaboration, and whereas, participation in conferences, workshops, and meetings with other public agencies provides learning opportunities that are essential for effective governance and can lead to the introduction of new ideas, best practices, and innovative solutions gleaned from the shared experiences of other elected officials, and whereas, a City Council travel policy standardizes the practices associated with council-related travel, establishing clear guidelines that align with the city's commitment to accountability and transparency, and whereas, the City Council travel policy provides council members and staff with a clear understanding of what constitutes an acceptable use of public funds, and whereas, Folsom Municipal Code Section 2.06.070, c. provides that the City Council may adopt rules governing its meetings, proceedings, and business. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council approves the attached City Council travel policy, which reflects a commitment to ensuring that public expenditures yield a positive return, ultimately reinforcing the city's mission to serve the community's best interests, passed and adopted this 25th day of February 2025 by the following roll call vote: ayes, noes, absent, abstain, Council Member, S. Council Member, S. Council Member, S. Council Member, S. Attest, Sarah Aquino, Mayor Krista Fremantle, City Clerk. Resolution number 11328, page 10F3. Folsom City Council I Traves Podaki. Purpose: the purpose of this podaki is to establish guidelines for travel undertaken by Folsom City Council members on officia I city business. The policy aims to ensure the responsible stewardship of taxpayer funds, promote transparency, and ensure that Atlantic Travel expenditures result in benefits for the city of Folsom and its residents. 1. Annual I Traves budget. The annual Travel budget for City Council members shall be established each year as part of the city's budget process. This budget would provide the financial framework for all official travel undertaken by council members during the fiscal year. 2. Allocation of travel funds for outgoing council members. Council members whose terms are ending shall be allocated onto half of the budgeted travel amount for that fiscal year. This limitation reflects the reduced time frame in which these members can effectively utilize travel funds in the city's best interest, and ensures that newly elected council members, or re-elected council members, will receive their fair share and benefit of travel funds for the remainder of the fiscal year. 3. Restrictions on travel for outgoing council members. Council members whose terms are ending are prohibited from traveling on city funds within the last 2 months of their term. This measure ensures that travel funds are utilized for ongoing or long-term city benefits and avoids expenditures that may not provide sufficient return on investment for the community. 4. Compliance with California's AB 1234 L. In accordance with AB 1234, council members must provide a report to the City Council after returning from any city-funded travels. The report shall include a summary of the activities undertaken, the relevance of the travel to the city's interests, and any tangible benefits or knowledge gained that can be applied to the city of Folsom. This report ensures conscience with state law as well as accountability and transparency in the use of public funds. 5. Stewardship of taxpayer funds at travel by City Council members must be conducted with the utmost care and consideration for the responsible use of taxpayer funds. Council members are expected to seek cost-effective travel options and avoid unnecessary expenditures. The purpose of Resolution number 11328, page 2 of 3: travel shall align with the city's strategic goals, and any expenditure shall be justifiable. In terms of the direct or indirect benefits to the city of Folsom and its residents. 6. Meat and incidental expenses. A travelers may request to be reimbursed for meal and incidental expenses, M&LE, for overnight travel at rates established by the U.S. General Services Administration, USCSA. This would be based upon the city/county where the lodging is located. If not listed as a key city, the current standard rate shall be used. When the USCSA per diem is tamed, a mayor receipt is not required. In instances where meal expenses are in excess of the per diem rate, the city requires an original receipt along with specific details regarding the name, of the guest, entertained, cost date, business purpose, and the business relationship of the individuals entertained. Pro ration of the per diem rate. The USGS website, https://www.gsa.gov/traves/tenbook/per diem rates, has a per diem tool that Catcutoletso/O for the first and last day of travel, as well as the breakdown for meets and incidentats provided for the other days. See meets included in conference registration fee, up to cap pro ration of the per diem amount for the specific meal included in the registration would be deducted from the daily per diem tamed. Paid receipts are required for at expenditures not including used in the DALE.Y per diem 7. Demonstrable benefits requirement at Traves expenditures shout to have benefit to the city of Folsom. Whether through the acquisition of new notage, the establishment of valuable connections, or the advancement of city projects, every trip should have tier objectives that align with the city's priorities. B. Conclusion: this travel Paul.ic reflects the city of Folsom's commitment to prudent financial management and transparency. By adhering to these guidelines, City Council members can ensure that their travel is conducted in the city's best interests and that taxpayer funds are used effectively to promote the well-being of the community. This policy shall be reviewed and updated as necessary to reflect changes in state law, city priorities, or budgetary considerations. Resolution number 11328, page 30F3. Folsom City Council Staff RT Meeting Date 2125120025. Agenda Section, Consent Calendar. Subject, from, Resolution number 11330, a resolution directing the preparation of engineer's report for the following landscaping and lighting districts for fiscal year 2025 to 2026: American River Canyon North, American River Canyon North No. 2, American River Canyon North No. 3, Blue Ravine Oaks No. 2, Briggs Ranch, Broadstone No. 4, Broadstone. Unit No. 3, Cobble Ridge, Cobble Hills Ridge IL/Reflections 2, Folsom Heights No. 2, Hannaford Cross, Lake Natoma Shores, Los Cerros, Natoma Station, Natoma Valley, Prairie Oaks Ranch No. 2, Prospect Ridge, Sierra Estates, Silverbrook, Steeplechase, the residences at American River Canyon, the residences at American River Canyon 2, Willow Creek Estates East No. 2, Willow Creek Estates South, and Willow Springs Parks and Recreation. Departmentation SIL staff recommends the City Council adopt Resolution number 11330, a resolution directing the preparation of engineer's report for the following landscaping and lighting districts for fiscal year 2025 to 2026: American River Canyon North, American River Canyon North No. 2, American River Canyon North No. 3, Blue Ravine Oaks No. 2, Briggs Ranch, Broadstone No. 4, Broadstone Unit No. 3, Cobble Ridge, Cobble Hills Ridge Reflections 2, Folsom Heights No. 2, Hannaford Cross, Lake Natoma Shores, Los Cerros, Natoma Station, Natoma Valley, Prairie Oaks Ranch No. 2, Prospect Ridge, Sierra Estates, Silverbrook, Steeplechase, the residences at American River Canyon, the residences at American River Canyon 2, Willow Creek Estates East No. 2, Willow Creek Estates South, and Willow Springs. 1. Background/issue: the city of Folsom has 30 existing landscaping and lighting districts. Each year, as part of the annual assessment process, an engineer's report must be prepared in accordance with the requirement of Article 4 of Chapter 1 of Part 2 of Division 15 of the Streets and Highways Code and Landscaping and Lighting Act of 1972. The engineer's report for fiscal year 2025 to 2026 will address all 30 districts in one report and will be submitted for final approval to the City Council. Policy/RIL Section 226220F The Streets and Highways Code requires the City Council to adopt a resolution directing the preparation of the engineer's report as part of the annual assessment process for landscaping and lighting districts. Analysis: the engineer's report for the 30 landscaping and lighting districts for fiscal year 2025-2026 WLLL be prepared by NBS Government Financing Group, NBS. The preliminary engineer's report is expected to be submitted for City Council review and approval on June 10, 2025, and the final engineer's report and public hearing is scheduled for July 22, 2025. Included within the report for each district will be the following: A. Plans and specifications for the maintenance of the improvements, on file in the Parks and Recreation Department. B. Estimate of the cost of maintaining the improvements. C. Diagrams of the assessment districts. D. Assessment of the estimated costs for maintaining the improvements. Impact. Each landscaping and lighting district levies and collects funds to cover operating and maintenance costs. The fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget for the landscaping and lighting districts includes funding for the preparation of the engineer's report. There is no fiscal impact to the City of Folsom General Fund. Environmental review N/A. This does not apply as there is no environmental review aspect to the engineer's report. 2. ATTL Resolution Number 1330. A resolution directing the preparation of engineer's report for the following landscaping and lighting districts for fiscal year 2025 to 2026: American River Canyon North, American River Canyon North No. 2, American River Canyon North No. 3, Blue Ravine Oaks, Blue Ravine Oaks No. 2, Briggs Ranch, Broadstone, Broadstone No. 4, Broadstone Unit No. 3, Cobble Ridge, Cobble Hills Ridge IL/Reflections 2, Folsom Heights, Folsom Heights No. 2, Hannaford Cross, Lake Natoma Shores, Los Cerros, Natoma Station, Natoma Valley, Prairie Oaks Ranch, Prairie Oaks Ranch No. 2, Prospect Ridge, Sierra Estates, Silverbrook, Steeplechase, the residences at American River Canyon, the residences at American River Canyon 2, Willow Creek Estates East, Willow Creek Estates East No. 2, Willow Creek Estates South, and Willow Springs. Submitted, Kelly Gonzalez, Parks and Recreation Director. J. Resolution No. 11330. A resolution directing the preparation of engineer's report for the following landscaping and lighting districts for fiscal year 2025.2026: American River Canyon North, American River Canyon North No. 2, American River Canyon North No. 3, Blue Ravine Oaks, Blue Ravine Oaks No. 2, Briggs Ranch, Broadstone, Broadstone No. 4, Broadstone Unit No. 3, Cobble Ridge, Cobble Hills Ridge. Reflections 2, Folsom Heights, Folsom Heights No. 2, Hannaford Cross, Lake Natoma Shores, Los Cerros, Natoma Station, Natoma Valley, Prairie Oaks Ranch, Prairie Oaks Ranch No. 2, Prospect Ridge, Sierra Estates, Silverbrook, Steeplechase, the residences at American River Canyon, the residences at American River Canyon 2, Willow Creek Estates East, Willow Creek Estates East No. 2, Willow Creek Estates South, and Willow Springs. Whereas, the City Council of the City of Folsom has established 30 landscaping and lighting assessment districts described as follows: American River Canyon North, American River Canyon North No. 2, American River Canyon North No. 3, Blue Ravine Oaks, Blue Ravine Oaks No. 2, Briggs Ranch, Broadstone, Broadstone No. 4, Broadstone Unit No. 3, Cobble Ridge, Cobble Hills Ridge. Reflections 2, Folsom Heights, Folsom Heights No. 2, Hannaford Cross, Lake Natoma Shores, Los Cerros, and Natoma Station, Natoma Valley, Prairie Oaks Ranch, Prairie Oaks Ranch No. 2, Prospect Ridge, Sierra Estates, Silverbrook, Steeplechase, the residences at American River Canyon, the residences at American River Canyon 2, Willow Creek Estates East, Willow Creek Estates East No. 2, Willow Creek Estates South, Willow Springs. Whereas, pursuant to the Landscape and Lighting Act of 1972, Act, Division 15, Part 2 of the Streets and Highway Code, the assessment is for the maintenance of public areas including, but not limited to, landscaped areas, street corridors, project entryways, certain parks, parkways, medians, statuary, residential village entryways, sound walls, fences, project signage, streetscapes, landscape, lighting maintenance and lighting, water and utility bills. And whereas, the City Council of the City of Folsom has determined that said territories will be specifically benefited by the maintenance and servicing of said landscape and appurtenant Resolution Number 11330 page 10 F2 improvements, and whereas, Sections 22,620 through 22,631 of the Act provide for annual assessments after the formation of said districts, and now, therefore, BIT resolved that the City Council of the City of Folsom authorizes the city manager to have the city's engineer prepare the engineer's report and file the same with the clerk for submission to the City Council, and that NBS Government Financing Group is hereby designated as engineer of work for purposes of these proceedings and is hereby ordered to prepare an engineer's report in accordance with Article 4 of Chapter 1 of the Act and Articles E of the California Constitution. Upon completion, the engineer shall file the engineer's report with the clerk of the council for submission to the council, and passed and adopted this 25th day of February 2025 by the following roll call vote: ayes, noes, absent, abstain, council member, S council member, S council member, S council member, S attest Krista Fremantle, City Clerk Sarah Aquino, Mayor Resolution number 11330 PAG20F2. This page is intention slay left blank to facilitate double-sided printing and minimize poper. RRSE FOLSO City CF Distinctive BY Nature RL Folsom City Council Staff Reort Meeting Date 2125122025 Agenda Section Subject Consent Calendar Resolution number 11332, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Mobile Modular Management Corporation for a 2-year lease of a modular trailer occupied by the Public Works Street Maintenance Division from Public Works Department RICO/City Count Action. The Public Works Department recommends that the City Council pass and adopt Resolution number 11332, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Mobile Modular Management Corporation for a 2-year lease of a modular trailer occupied by the Public Works Street Maintenance Division. Background/issue: the Street Maintenance Division of the Public Works Department is located in the City of Folsom Corporation Yard. Street maintenance staff work out of a modular trolley originally leased from Performance Modular RN20L5. A 5-year lease extension was approved by City Council IN20L9. Performance Modular was sold to Vesta Modular in 2022. In 2023, Vesta Modular was sold to Mobile Modular Management Corporation, Mobile Modular, who currently owns the building. Following the 5-year period of the lease extension, which expired at the end of 2024, the agreement transitioned to a month-to-month rental, which does not guarantee the monthly rate or continued use of the building. Both parties are interested in entering into an agreement to maintain the current rental rate and secure the building for an additional 2 years. The short-term lease allows for an easier transition when the Street Maintenance Division is moved to the future location of the corporation yard. 1. This resolution would authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with Mobile Modular for a 2-year lease. Policy/rule: in accordance with Section 2.36.080 OFT Folsom Municipal Code, supplies, equipment, services, and construction with a value of $75,049 or greater shall be approved by City Council. Analysis: in consideration of the future transition to a new corporation yard, the department recommends a 2-year lease on the building the Street Maintenance Division has occupied since 2015. A lease fixes monthly costs and establishes the party responsible for building maintenance and repairs. If the current corporation yard were going to be used long-term, a longer-term office solution would be evaluated through a bid process. However, taking into consideration the cost and operational disruption of removing the current building and installing a new building, entering into a new lease to seamlessly continue operations is the most practical course of action. The monthly rental rate is $2,378.60 per month, or $28,543.20 per year, $57,086.40 for the term of the lease agreement. The city also remains responsible for the final return charges at the end of the lease, which have been estimated at $6,919. Finan impact: the agreement is for 2 years of rent, which equates to $57,086.40. The lease of the Street Maintenance Division trailer is included in the adopted fiscal year 2024-25 operating budget and funded through the Public Works Operating Fund, Fund 023. The remaining cost to the Public Works Operating Fund, Fund 023, in fiscal year 2024-25 to continue utilizing the building is $1,046.60, including taxes. Sufficient funds for the additional amount available in the current fiscal year Public Works Operating Fund, Fund 023, and will be made available through the budget process for the remainder of the period of the agreement. Environmental review. This action is exempt from environmental review under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. Attachment Resolution Number 1332, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Mobile Modular Management Corporation for a 2-year lease of a modular trailer occupied by the Public Works Street Maintenance Division 2 submitted, Mark Rakoven, Public Works Director J. Resolution No. 11332, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Mobile Modular Management Corporation for a 2-year lease of a modular trailer occupied by the Public Works Street Maintenance Division. Whereas, the Street Maintenance Division of the Public Works Department currently utilizes a rented modular trailer located at the City of Folsom Corporation Yard, and whereas, the Cunant modular trailer is meeting the operational needs of the Street Maintenance Division, and whereas, the lease for the existing modular trailer has expired, and whereas, the City and Mobile Modular Management Corporation have continued to operate under the terms of the lease, and whereas, staff has considered the limited term use of the current corporation yard in the recommendation to continue leasing the existing modular trailer rather than solicit bids for a replacement modular trailer, and whereas, a lease agreement secures the modular trailer for use by the Street Maintenance Division over the next two years, and whereas, staff recommends the agreement with Mobile Modular Management Corporation to continue leasing the modular trailer for 2 additional years, which equates to $57,086.40, and whereas, sufficient funds are budgeted and available in the Public Works Operating Fund, FUND 023, in the current fiscal year and will be made available for the remainder of the agreement through the budget process, and whereas, the agreement will be in a form acceptable to the city attorney. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Folsom authorizes the city manager to execute an agreement with Mobile Modular Management Corporation for the lease of the modular trailer occupied by the Street Maintenance Division. Passed and adopted this 25th day of February 2025, by the following roll call vote: ayes, noes, absent, abstain, council member, S. Council Member, S. Council Member, S. Council Member, S. Resolution No. I 1332 page 10 F2 Attest Krista Fremantle, City Clerk Sarah Aquino, Mayor Resolution Number 11332 PAG 20F2. This page is intentional LLY left blank to facilitate double-sided printing and minimize papertzy. Falso I City of Distinctive BY Nature Folsom City Council Staff RT Meeting Date, 212512025 Agenda Section, Public Hearing Subject, Resolution Number 11329, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Folsom approving the issuance of the California Municipal Finance Authority exempt facility bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million for the purpose of financing or refinancing the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping Harrington Dollar Grove Apartments and certain other matters relating thereto from Community Development Department Sil A1. Conduct a public hearing under the Tax and Equity Fiscal Responsibility Act, TEFRA, on February 25, 2025 in connection with the proposed issuance of revenue bonds by the California Municipal Finance Authority, the CMFA, joint exercise of powers authority and public entity of the State of California, in an amount not to exceed $25 million, the bonds, to finance or refinance the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of a multifamily rental housing project located at 791 Harrington Way, the project, within the City of Folsom, California, the City. 2. Move to adopt Resolution No. L 1329, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Folsom approving the issuance of the California Municipal Finance Authority exempt facility bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million for the purpose of financing or refinancing the acquisition, improvement, and equipping Harrington Grove Apartments and certain other matters relating thereto. Issue on November 20, 2024, the Planning Commission approved a design review and density bonus application for the Harrington Grove Apartments project. The project 1. The Harrington Grove Apartments multifamily project is a new construction, 100% affordable multifamily rental development. It will be constructed on a 1.74-acre site located on the west side of Harrington Way, approximately 330 feet south of the intersection of Harrington Way and East Bidwell Street at the address 791 Harsington Way. The approved project consists of 52 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units affordable to low, very low, and extremely low-income households. On July 23, 2024, the City Council adopted Resolution No. II-234, conditionally approving an affordable housing loan, in the amount up to $2,700,000, to construct the Harrington Grove Apartments project. Figure 1, Harrington Grove Project Site Aerial Photograph. Folsom Pacific Associates 2, LP, the borrower, has requested that the California Municipal Finance Authority, CMFA, serve as the municipal issuer of the bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million, the bonds, of tax-exempt revenue bonds. The proceeds of the bonds will be used to finance or refinance the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of a multifamily rental housing project located at 791 Harrington Way, the project, within the city. 2. In order for the bonds to qualify as tax-exempt bonds, the City of Folsom must conduct a public hearing, the TEFRA hearing, providing for the members of the community an opportunity to speak in favor of or against the use of tax-exempt bonds for the financing of the project. Prior to such TEFRA hearing, reasonable notice must be provided to the members of the community. Following the close of the TEFRA hearing, an applicable elected representative of the governmental unit hosting the project must provide its approval of the issuance of the bonds for the financing of the project. On December 1, 2024, the PROJECT received an award of private activity bond allocation from the California Debt Limit Allocation Committee. The City Council is being asked to adopt a resolution that would approve the issuance of tax-exempt bonds by the CMFA. Policy/Rule Section 147, T, of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, the Code, requires that prior to their issuance, the bonds are required to be approved by the applicable elected representative of the governmental units on whose behalf such bonds are expected to be issued and by a governmental unit having jurisdiction over the entire area in which any facility financed by such bonds is to be located, after a public hearing held following reasonable public notice. Analysis. In order for the bonds to qualify as tax-exempt bonds, the City of Folsom must conduct a public hearing, the TEFRA hearing, providing for the members of the community an opportunity to speak in favor of or against the use of tax-exempt bonds for the financing of the project. Prior to such TEFRA hearing, reasonable notice must be provided to the members of the community. Following the close of the TEFRA hearing, an applicable elected representative of the governmental unit hosting the project must provide its approval of the issuance of the bonds for the financing of the project. A public notice was published in the Folsom Telegraph on February 14, 2025. The CMFA was created on January 1, 2004 pursuant to a joint exercise of powers agreement to promote economic, cultural, and community development, through the financing of economic development and charitable activities throughout California. To date, over 350 municipalities have become members of CMFA. The CMFA was formed to assist local governments, non-profit organizations, and businesses with the issuance of taxable and tax-exempt bonds aimed at improving the standard of living in California. The CMFA's representatives and its board of directors have considerable experience in bond financings. Financial impact. There is no fiscal impact to the city. The bonds to be issued by the CMFA for the project will be the sole responsibility of the borrower, and the city will have no financial, legal, moral obligation, liability or responsibility for the project or the repayment of the bonds for the financing of the project. All financing documents with respect to the issuance of the bonds will contain clear disclaimers that the bonds are not obligations of the city or the state of California but are to be paid for solely from funds provided by the borrower. The Board of Directors of the California Foundation for Stronger Communities, a California nonprofit public benefit corporation, the foundation acts as the board of directors for the CMFA. Through its conduit issuance activities, the CMFA shares a portion of the issuance fees it receives with its member communities and donates a portion of these issuance fees to the foundation for the support of local charities. With respect to the city of Folsom, it is expected that a portion of the issuance fee attributable to the city will be granted by the CMFA to the general fund of the city. Such grant may be used for any lawful purpose of the city. Environmental review. This action to approve the issuance of these bonds by the City Council is exempt from environmental review pursuant to Section 15061, BX3, Review for Exemption, of the California Environmental Quality Act. The project, which was deemed as consistent with applicable community plans aired zoning, is exempt from environmental review under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, by Section 15183. Projects consistent with a community plan or zoning, of the CEQA guidelines. Attachment 1. Resolution number 11329, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Folsom approving the issuance of the California Municipal Finance Authority exempt facility bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million for the purpose of financing or refinancing the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping Harrington Grove Apartments and certain other matters relating thereto, submitted, Pam Johns, Community Development Director. For Attachment I, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Folsom approving the issuance of the California Municipal Finance Authority exempt facility bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million for the purpose of financing or refinancing the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping Harrington Grove Apartments and certain other matters relating thereto. Resolution No. TI 329, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Folsom approving the issuance of the California/IA Municipal Finance Authority exempt facility bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $25 million for the purpose of financing or refinancing the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of Harrington Grove Apartments and certain other matters relating thereto. Whereas, Folsom Pacific Associates II, a California limited partnership, the borrower, a partnership of which Pacific West Communities, Incorporated, the developer, or a related person to the developer is the general partner, has requested that the California Municipal Finance Authority, the authority, adopt a plan of financing providing for the issuance of exempt facility bonds for a qualified residential rental project pursuant to Section IA2 at 7 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, the Code, in one or more series issued from time to time, including bonds issued to refund such exempt facility bonds. In one or more series from time to time, and at no time to exceed $25 million in aggregate principal amount, the bonds, to finance or refinance the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of a multifamily rental housing project located at 879I Hannington Way, Folsom, California, the project, and whereas, pursuant to Section 147(d) of the Code, the issuance of the bonds by the authority must be approved by the City of Folsom, the city, because the project is located within the territorial limits of the city, and whereas, the City Council of the City, the City Council, is the elected legislative body of the city and is one of the applicable elected representatives required to approve the issuance of the bonds under Section 147(f) of the Code, and whereas, the authority has requested that the City Council approve the issuance of the bonds by the authority in order to satisfy the public approval requirement of Section 147(f) of the Code and the requirements of Section 4 of the Joint Exercise of Powers Agreement relating to the California Municipal Finance Authority, dated as of January 1, 2004, the agreement, among certain local agencies, including the city, and whereas, pursuant to Section 147(f) of the Code, the City Council has, following notice duly given, held a public hearing regarding the issuance of the bonds, and now desires to approve the issuance of the bonds by the authority. Now, therefore, be it resolved, by the City Council of the City of Folsom as follows. Section 1. The foregoing resolutions are true and correct. Section 2. The City Council hereby approves the issuance of the bonds by the authority. It is the purpose and intent of the City Council that this resolution constitute approval of the issuance of the bonds by the authority, for the purposes of a. Section I-47, t. of the Code by the applicable elected representative of the governmental unit having jurisdiction over the ADA in Resolution number 11329 page 70F2 which the project is located, in accordance with said Section KT, F, and B, Section 4 of the Agreement. Section 3. The issuance of the bonds shall be subject to the approval of the authority of all financing documents relating thereto to which the authority is a party. The city shall have no responsibility or liability whatsoever with respect to the bonds. Section 4. The adoption of this resolution shall not obligate the city or any department thereof to I. provide any financing to acquire or construct the project or any refinancing of the project, 2. approve any application or request for or take any other action in connection with any planning approval, permit or other action necessary for the acquisition, construction, rehabilitation, installation, or operation of the project, 3. make any contribution or advance any funds whatsoever to the authority, or 4. take any further action with respect to the authority or its membership therein. Section 5. The officers of city are hereby authorized and directed, jointly and severally, to do any and all things and to execute and deliver any and all documents which they deem necessary or advisable in order to carry out, give effect to and comply with the terms and intent of this resolution and the financing transaction approved hereby. Passed and adopted this 25th day of February, 2025, by the following roll call vote: ayes, noes, absent, abstain, council member, S council member, S council member, S council member, S attest, Sarah Aquino, Mayor Krista Fremantle, City Clerk. Resolution number 11329 PAG20F2. This page is intentionally left blank to facilitate double-sided printing and minimize PO per TRSE. Fols, L/CTRY of Distinctive EY Nature T4-$_FL Folsom City Council Staff Re-RT Meeting Date, 2T2ST 2025 Agenda Section, New Business Subject, Presentation of Findings from the Roundabout Feasibility Study and Direction to Staff from, I. Resolution number 11331, a resolution adopting new planning and design standards pertaining to the use of roundabouts as traffic control. Public Works Department Recommendation/City Council Action. The Public Works Department recommends that the City Council pass and adopt Resolution number 11331, a resolution adopting new planning and design standards pertaining to the use of roundabouts as traffic control. Background/issue: during the December 13, 2022, City Council meeting, Public Works staff made a presentation titled Report on Traffic Roundabout Fact-Finding Mission and Direction to Staff regarding future consideration of a traffic roundabout policy. Information was presented regarding their experiences visiting Carmel and Whitestown, Indiana, and Stapleton, Golden, and Loveland, Colorado. Additionally, staff presented the benefits of vehicle and driver safety, traffic operations and capacity, right-of-way requirements, and maintenance needs versus traditional traffic signal control at intersections. After the presentation, City Council unanimously directed staff to develop a roundabout first policy. At the same meeting, City Council adopted Resolution number 10961, a resolution authorizing staff to submit grant applications to the Sacramento Area Council of Governments for the 2022-23 funding round. One of the projects submitted to receive funding through the non-competitive community design category was the Roundabout Policy and Feasibility Study project. In May 2023, the city was awarded a $400,000 SACAG grant to perform the study. One subsequently, City Council adopted Resolution No. LLL7L, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a design and consulting services contract with Kimley Horn & Associates, Inc. for the Roundabout Policy and Feasibility Study, Project No. PW2403, Federal Project No. 5288, 05A. On August 27, 2024, the city adopted an update to the general plan, Folsom General Plan M April 7, 10, which included language explicitly supporting the OO roundabout first policy. This policy mandates that roundabouts be considered as the preferred traffic control method at intersections where feasible, aligning with the city's commitment to sustainable and efficient traffic management. Design Standards City staff, with the assistance of Kimley Horn, has developed new guidelines to make roundabouts a more common and effective part of the city's road network. These guidelines support the Roundabout First policy adopted in the August 27, 2024, General Plan M April 1, 10 update and provide a clear approach to designing and building roundabouts across Folsom. The Roundabout Planning and Design Standards set guidelines for how roundabouts should be designed to fit safely and efficiently within Folsom's streets. The city shall follow national best practices but adapt them to local needs. Whenever possible, roundabouts will be designed to minimize the need for extra land while ensuring smooth traffic movement. Specialized designs, such as peanut or oval-shaped roundabouts, may be used if space is limited. Proper curbs and traffic islands will help slow vehicles down, making roundabouts safer for both drivers and pedestrians. When traffic is expected to increase, design guidelines will allow for future expansion. Roundabouts will be prioritized for all new intersections and when existing intersections are being redesigned, particularly when they contribute to improved traffic flow and safety. Before approving a roundabout, the city and/or the developer will conduct a detailed study based on the proposed planning and design standards to determine whether it is the most effective solution. This evaluation will include an analysis of traffic patterns and future growth projections to ensure the roundabout remains functional and efficient over time. Bicyclists and pedestrians are important considerations in roundabout design. Multi-lane roundabout designs will include dedicated bike lanes and safe crossing points. Pedestrian crosswalks will be positioned to maximize visibility and safety, and additional safety measures like flashing beacons may be used where needed. To ensure roundabouts are designed properly, each project will go through a 3-step review process. This includes an initial concept review, a detailed engineering evaluation, and final construction plans. Developers and city staff will be required to follow a clear checklist to confirm all necessary steps are completed. These guidelines will create a consistent, efficient, and safe approach to roundabout development in Folsom. By prioritizing roundabouts where appropriate, the city will aim to improve traffic flow, reduce long-term maintenance costs, and enhance overall roadway safety. The Public Works and Community Development departments will collaborate to implement these standards in future projects, reinforcing Folsom's commitment to modern, sustainable traffic management. Feasibility study utilizing the SACAG grant funding. City staff retained Kimley Horn and Associates to assess 12 existing and 1 future intersection to determine if a roundabout would provide adequate traffic control, the general size and shape of each roundabout would be, and any potential impacts would need to be considered if the city decide to pursue a roundabout at one of the study locations. The following intersections were evaluated as part of this study. Riley Street at East Bidwell Street, O'Reilly Street at Walmart/Kohl's. Riley Street at Glen Drive, Glen Drive at East Bidwell Street, East Bidwell at Coloma Street, Folsom Lake Crossing at East Natoma Street, Folsom Lake Crossing at Folsom Auburn Road, Folsom Auburn Road at Oak Avenue Parkway, Folsom Auburn Road at Greenback Lane, Blue Ravine Road at Prairie City Road/Sibley Street, Blue Ravine Road at Oak Avenue Parkway, East Bidwell Street at Iron Point Road, Prairie City Road at Alder Creek Parkway. Planned intersection. Kimley Horn's analysis concluded that 11 of the 13 intersections are viable roundabout candidates, with only Folsom Auburn Road/Greenback Lane and East Bidwell Street/Iron Point Road being deemed infeasible. City staff and Kimley Horn staff will present a summary of the study findings, including conceptual exhibits and preliminary costs-benefit analyses. Staff will seek council guidance as to which study locations should be further considered for project development and grant funding. Policy/rule. The adoption of new planning and design standards for roundabouts aligns with the city's commitment to improving roadway safety, traffic efficiency, and sustainable infrastructure development. These standards are intended to supplement existing engineering guidelines and integrate with the city's General Plan Transportation Policy M. April 1, 10. J. Financial impact. There are no direct financial obligations associated with the adoption of these planning and design standards. Future roundabout projects will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis and funded through applicable capital improvement programs, grant opportunities, or developer contributions as appropriate. Environmental review. The adoption of these planning and design standards is exempt from environmental review under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, as it pertains to policy development rather than a specific construction project. Attachments 1. Resolution Number 133-1, a resolution adopting new planning and design standards pertaining to the use of roundabouts as traffic control. 2. Kimley-Hom Draft of Folsom Roundabout Guidelines. 3. Kimley-Hom Folsom Roundabout Drawings submitted, Mark Rackoven, Public Works Director. 4. Attachment I. Resolution Number 11331. Resolution No. 11331. A resolution adopting new planning and design standards pertaining the use of roundabouts as traffic control. Whereas, the City of Folsom is committed to improving roadway safety, traffic efficiency, and sustainable infrastructure development, and whereas, on August 27, 2024, the City adopted an update to the General Plan, Policy M. April 1, 10, reinforcing the commitment to the Roundabout First policy, and whereas, City staff, with assistance from Kimley-Horn, has developed comprehensive roundabout planning and design standards to guide the implementation of roundabouts in Folsom, and whereas, these standards provide a clear approach to designing roundabouts that optimize traffic flow, enhance safety, accommodate all road users, and minimize right-of-way impacts, and whereas the standards establish a structured process for evaluating, designing, and implementing roundabouts, including multi-step review procedures and considerations for future traffic demand, and now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Folsom adopts the Roundabout Planning and Design Standards as the guiding document for implementing roundabouts in Folsom. Passed and adopted this 25th day of February, 2025, by the following roll call vote: ayes, noes, absent, abstain, council member, S council member, S council member, S council member, S attest Sarah Aquino, Mayor Krista Fremantle, City Clerk. Resolution No. LL33L Page IO Flow Attachment 2 Kimley-Horn Draft of Folsom Roundabout Guidelines for CAN-FT Section XX, Roundabouts, Rev 02118L2SLZXX.1 General. This section describes typical roundabout design practices for implementation within the City of Folsom. Contact the City of Folsom Engineering Division in the Community Development Department for unfamiliar definitions. Roundabouts have been found to reduce vehicle emissions and fuel consumption by 30% or more. This is due to the reduction in idle time by vehicles waiting for the light to change. Although they may not be appropriate in all circumstances, they should be considered as an alternative for all proposed new intersections, particularly those with major road volumes with less than 90% of the total entering volume. The safety benefits of crash reduction and crash severity reduction translate into lower life cycle costs of roundabouts. XX.2 Roundabout Policy. The City of Folsom has adopted a policy that prioritizes roundabouts as the primary form of intersection control. See Folsom General Plan M. Low, amended August 27, 2024. An engineering study to determine the feasibility of a roundabout is required for the following: A new intersection planning and design. B. Retrofit of an existing intersection. C. Traffic calming. The engineering study shall be completed in which roundabout control is thoroughly evaluated to the satisfaction of the Public Works Director and City Engineer. XX.3 Operational Analysis. Operational analysis considerations are documented in Section 13, Traffic Impact Studies. A. Recommended roundabout capacity software. The City of Folsom will accept the following roundabout capacity software: A. Sidra intersection, or approved equal by the City of Folsom. I. Roundabout capacity analysis results shall be based on parameters published within the latest version of the Highway Capacity Manual, HCM, using the HCM capacity model. 2. Roundabout capacity analysis resulting in 3 or more lanes must be evaluated using the SIDRA standard capacity model or approved equal. 3. Standard environmental factor setting of 1-2 should be used. City may consider lower environmental factors if justification is provided. 4. V/C factors between 0.85 and 1.00 may be considered if justification is FIFI aft B VISIM, or approved equal. I. Complex intersections and intersection systems and/or channelization as determined by the city engineer shall require the use of specialized roundabout software and capacity models. 2. Performance settings such as follow-up headway, gap acceptance, etc. used to calibrate the VISIM model, or approved equal, shall be provided to the city for review. Vehicle speeds navigating the roundabout shall be based on calculated in-lane operational speeds. B. The operational analysis for a proposed roundabout shall include the following scenarios. 1. Existing and/or construction year, SI/opening 2 liters interim year, SI plus 10, 3, horizon year, SI plus 20, C. Peak hour turning movements shall be analyzed to determine the appropriate roundabout lane channelization for section A above. D. Projected traffic calculations and assumptions. 1. Where feasible, a historic traffic growth shall be established along the corridor using average daily traffic, ADT, data. 2. LF feasible, a linear regression calculation shall be conducted to determine the anticipated rate of traffic growth for the subject intersection. 3. Determine if a regional travel demand model is available and reasonable. Additional coordination with the regional agency and/or the City of Folsom Traffic Department may be required. 4. A traffic study may be required using trip generation calculations similar to a traffic impact analysis process. Based on Section A through Section C above, the proper lane channelization shall be determined according to a city-approved roundabout capacity model. F. Expandable design. 1. LF. A varying lane configuration is determined from the interim versus horizon year capacity analysis. Both an interim and ultimate roundabout layout shall be developed. ZL. Consideration shall be given to future widenings or expansions of adjacent corridors that may impact the proposed roundabout lane configuration. XX.4 Geometric design considerations for all roundabouts. The City of Folsom has adopted the NCHRP Report 1-043, Guide for Roundabouts, as the city's roundabout design guide. However, design criteria in this guide and expressed preferences takes precedence over NCHRP Report 1043 guidance. Roundabout City of Folsom XX2L. In addition to the geometric design diagrams provided in the following sections, the city expresses the following general design considerations for all roundabouts. A non-circular, oval, peanut, etc. roundabouts should only be used when justified by right-of-way constraints and/or intersection skew angle. The reason for non-circular shape should be documented at the concept design stage. A curb and/or curb and gutter shall be provided on the outside of the circulatory roadway and on all approaches a minimum distance equal to the length of the splitter island to help approaching drivers recognize the need to reduce their speed, prevent corner cutting, and to confine vehicles to the intended design path. Curb and/or curb and gutter shall be provided for a minimum distance of 50 feet past the edge of the circulatory roadway on the exit leg. A splitter islands shall extend a minimum of 50 feet from the edge of the inscribed circle. The desirable length of a splitter island is 100 foot for urban design, 30 miles per hour to 35 miles per hour, and 150 feet to 200 foot for rural or suburban conditions, 5 miles per hour. The exit curb radii are usually larger than the entry radii in order to minimize the likelihood of congestion and crashes at the exits. This, however, is balanced by the need to maintain slow speeds through the pedestrian crossing on exit. The exit design is also influenced by the design environment, urban versus rural, pedestrian demand, the design vehicle, and physical constraints. Roundabout exits in areas with pedestrian accommodations should be designed to provide adequate sight distance and control speeds. For challenging topographic conditions when retrofitting an existing intersection, tipping circles may be considered. Typical cross-sections for grading conditions of single-lane and multi-lane layouts involve tipping the plane of the circle. This can improve the fit of the grading design and reduce drainage and/or right-of-way constraints, which reduces construction impacts and costs. Figure 1 illustrates the city's preferences for tipping circles on a plane. Many roundabout can also have a tipped circle, but the central island is still fully traversable. For constructability and grade control, setting up additional alignments and profiles of the edge of pavement produces optimal grade control for retrofit designs. Developing a grading surface that closely follows existing topography or the natural grade of the intersection often results in tipping the circle. Tipping the circle, as Figure 1 shows, requires gradual transition from sloping in on the high side to sloping out on the low side. The preferred maximum cross slope of the low side should be 2% to prevent truck rollovers. Roundabout City of Folsom XX3 Trudapm verfus 2 kmlatofro $n whole ira c offered very sealed k con baftun to 6 cu 0.lkl, on la 4 ora.a gregale c red e slamp conc, perenent, s dollar of endnes. CT0, sti tl 18 6 tl play, helglator top olcu dollar slow dopal and eiler asktel per veflial curb, alhamlaid. Ord da shrigalo se so cm and sbngedcorc. Pavanel.8 sabttl dms cub, st gil 18 figure L, circulatory roadway typical section, tip circle, additional considerations for the proper accommodation of oversize/overweight vehicles, OSOWs, may be needed for vertical clearance checks of lowboys and other vehicles that have a reduced vertical envelope. In rare cases, the height of the center island truck apron and the circulatory grade may need to factor into the check vehicle vertical clearance. For additional guidance, see NCHRP Report L043 Chapter 1L. In areas of new construction, consideration must be given to OSOW vehicles during construction activities in nearby areas, including entrances. Single-lane and smaller roundabouts may restrict the size and movement of construction vehicles accessing construction sites. An evaluation and consideration of alternative or temporary construction access may be needed for phased implementation of roundabout construction. External truck aprons may be used where it can be shown that entry or exit widths become excessive, e.g., greater than 18 feet for a single-lane roundabout, to accommodate the city design vehicle, CA truck. When a raised outside truck apron is designed for roundabouts, it must not overlap the pedestrian crossing ramp. The crossing may be shifted outside the overlapping swept path, or the alignment of entry and exit travelway may be reconfigured to increase the angle between legs. A bicycle and pedestrian accommodations are required at all roundabouts with consideration of lane configurations. For bicyclists, safety and usability of roundabouts depends upon provision of crossing and approach or departure ramp design with the roundabout design. See Section 10.4, NCHRP 1043. Since typical on-road bicyclists' travel is between L2 and 20 miles per hour, roundabouts that are designed to constrain vehicle speeds to similar values will minimize the relative speeds between bicyclists and motorists, and thereby improve the safety and usability for bicyclists. At multi-lane roundabouts, bike diversion and re-entry ramps are required per Section 10.4.5 design for bicyclists and pedestrians using shared use paths, NCHRP 1043. Bike diversion and re-entry ramps are preferred at single-lane roundabouts on an existing bike route. If there is no existing bike route, bicyclists can be assumed to share the circulatory roadway with vehicles in single-lane roundabouts. Roundabout City of Folsom XX4 Exhibit Low Point 29, NCHRP 1043 illustrates staggered crosswalks at multi-lane roundabout exits. The separation distance from the exit bullnose should be based on the type of crossing treatment and coordination with the city engineer. A splitter island must be wide enough to contain the staggered refuge area with sufficient lateral clearance of 2 feet to curb face. The City of Folsom follows the U.S. Access Board Public Right-of-Way Accessibility Guidelines, PROWG, September 2023, which permits the use of raised crosswalks, rectangular rapid flashing beacons, RRFB, in lieu of pedestrian hybrid beacons, PHB, at the discretion of the city engineer. If there are no existing pedestrian facilities at an intersection, the crosswalks should be built to allow for future connection as area sidewalks are added. Categories of roundabouts and design parameters. Categories of roundabouts include mini roundabouts, single lane, and multi-lane configurations. The differences are mainly in circle size, with minis being the most compact while the largest circles, multi-lane designs, have at least 2 circulating lanes and multi-lane approaches or exits. Mini roundabouts have traversable central islands while multi-lane roundabouts have large central island areas suitable for landscaping and place-making. This section presents each category of roundabout and the associated geometric design parameters. Refer to section XX.6 for additional information on design parameters and design criteria. 1. Mini roundabouts. Mini roundabouts with traversable central islands are applicable in urban environments with speeds less than or equal to 30 miles per hour. Placement of mini roundabouts in higher speed environments is feasible, but approach splitter islands must provide the compensating speed reduction that the circle size cannot afford. Longer raised splitter islands, L00 foot, with reverse curvature, curbs, and other features, e.g., advanced signing, pavement markings, reflecting delineators, or illumination, are applicable in locations with approach speeds 35 miles per hour and greater. Mini roundabouts have a raised fully traversable central island. A mini roundabout can be a low-cost alternative to all-way stop control for improving intersection capacity and safety without the need for acquiring additional right-of-way. The suitability of a mini roundabout depends on 1. Traffic volumes L5,000 ADT, summation of ADT for each roadway or total ADT entering the I intersection. 2. Truck volumes. 5% mini roundabouts are typically defined by an inscribed circle diameter, LCD, of between 60 to L00 feet. The fully traversable central island and splitter islands allow larger vehicles to pass over the central island making left turns. Details of a mini roundabout can be seen in Plate RB01. This standard for mini roundabouts is intended to be used where circulatory roadway paving is asphalt or concrete and approach speeds are 35 miles per hour or less. Roundabout City of Folsom XX5I. Due to the smaller circle size, geometric entry path deflection at mini roundabouts is more challenging, therefore, approach curvature typically governs entry speed, along with left offset of alignment for improved entry path deflection. This can be achieved through approach curvature, chicanes, and slash or longer splitter islands. These features also contribute to recognition of the roundabout ahead so that drivers may decelerate in advance of the entry point. The majority of traffic should be able to pass through the mini roundabout while staying within the circulatory roadway. 2 liters single-lane roundabouts. Single-lane roundabouts have single-lane entry at all legs and 1 circulating lane. Single-lane roundabouts can include right turn bypass lanes. Although they may be compact with a very small raised central island, they are distinguished from mini roundabouts by their non-traversable central island and larger inscribed circle diameter, typically within the range of 90 to L40 feet. The geometric design features include raised, curbed splitter islands with appropriate entry path deflection, a raised non-traversable central island, crosswalks, and a truck apron vertically separated from the circulatory roadway by a mountable curb. Figure XX illustrates the city's specifications and preferences regarding geometric design for a single-lane roundabout. Additionally, single-lane roundabouts require traffic control devices that can be found on Figure RB04. The design of a single-lane roundabout should have enough entry path deflection, geometric speed control, to create balanced speeds through the roundabout. The use of left offset of the approach alignment contributes to reduced speeds in advance of the entry line. This is especially important for compact roundabouts. Intersection capacity will be considered in the determination of a single or multi-lane roundabout. For additional information related to multi-lane roundabouts, please reference the following section. For projects, an intersection control evaluation, LCE, or roundabout feasibility analysis may be required as determined by the city engineer. Signs shall be mounted outside any areas traversable by vehicles. Figure XX displays signage for one approach of a typical single-lane roundabout. Other approaches should be treated similarly. 3. Multi-lane roundabouts. Multi-lane roundabouts have at least one entry with 2 or more lanes and 2 or more corresponding circulating lanes. In some cases, the roundabout may have a different number of lanes on one or more approaches, e.g., 2-lane entries on the major street and 1-lane entries on the minor street. Multi-lane roundabouts may have single-lane approaches that flare from 1 to 2 or more lanes. Figure 2 illustrates alternative lane configurations for 2-lane entries. The choice of lane configuration depends on the proportion of turning movements and their directions. The optimal 2-lane configuration roundabout city of Folsom XX6 will have the least number of conflict points between entering and circulating traffic. Therefore, the lane configuration consisting of left through, right only is optimal for safety, while the other lane configuration versions may provide improved capacity but with measurable safety trade-off. Left through, right only, through right dual lefts. Figure 2, lane configuration options for 2-lane entry. A multi-lane roundabout design is warranted at build year plus 10, 1 to 0, years, then a single-lane roundabout or expandable roundabout may be used for the initial 10 years. Alternatively, although not recommended, it can be designed as a multi-lane roundabout, but striped and signed as a single-lane roundabout when initially opened to traffic. Interim and ultimate lane configuration roundabout analysis may result in a preferred method of using future expandable design. The city's preference is for use of curbing, rather than striping the expandable design. A multi-lane roundabout is required for future build-out. Securing the right-of-way for the use of space is necessary for appropriate project planning. Multi-lane roundabouts also accommodate passenger cars and buses traveling side by side. The circulatory roadway lane widths are usually 12 feet to 14 feet wide to accommodate school and transit buses staying in lane. Large trucks do not need to travel in lane in multi-lane roundabouts. Moreover, when designs are enlarged for large trucks in lane, this has been shown to decrease safety for all users. The geometric design features are illustrated on Roundabout City of Folsom XX7 figure RB07. When possible, restrict the use of full multi-lane designs by use of exclusive left turn lanes and single-lane exits. In such cases, raised truck apron curbs are required for spiral designs. Additionally, multi-lane roundabouts require traffic control devices that can be found on figure RB08. Signs shall be mounted outside any areas traversable by vehicles. Other approaches should be treated similarly. XX.5 Roundabout submittals and approval. There are 3 distinct phases of roundabout geometric design that require a PPR oval by the City of Folsom. 1. Concept layouts with intersection capacity and / or potential interim conditions. 2 Leaders geometric approval drawings for all interim, if any, and ultimate conditions. 3. Final design improvement plans. The roundabout submittal checklist at the end of this document, section XX roundabouts, shall be included with each submittal. A conceptual layouts. Roundabout conceptual layouts shall depict critical roundabout features and geometric design elements based on the initial roundabout operations and conformance requirements. Concept layouts may be prepared using readily available aerial imagery. The layouts shall include colored pavement markings consistent with the City of Folsom standard roundabout details. In addition, the layouts shall identify landscape opportunities and potential sight line constraints based on estimated sight lines. Project constraints and right-of-way impacts shall be identified. Conceptual layout submittals shall include the following elements: A. Size and location of roundabout relative to right-of-way and geometric constraints. B. Roadway realignments. C. Approach and departure alignment. 1. D. Design speed, design vehicle, and sight line considerations. Draft calculations are recommended to be conducted at this phase of concept refinement. 2. Final design check calculations shall be revised, as needed, with geometric approval drawings and submitted with the request for geometric approval of the roundabout. E. Local access impacts and circulation. F. Travel paths for bicyclists and pedestrians. G. Continuity for pedestrian travel and access to transit facilities. H. Estimated functional area of intersection based on roundabout geometric features and roundabout design influence areas. L. Number of approach, departure, and circulatory lanes. Roundabout City of Folsom XX.8 Channelization and striping strategies for circulating lanes and design vehicle accommodation. Concepts shall demonstrate the engineer's consideration of roundabout placement and ability to achieve target safety performance measures required for geometric approval, pedestrian and vehicular site circulation, right-of-way, utilities, storm water treatment, environmental avoidance/mitigation areas, walls, monuments, topography, etc. B. Geometric approval. The engineer shall prepare for approval geometric approval drawings, GAD, and performance check calculations prior to establishing final roadway geometrics and right-of-way. Final design plans, specifications, right-of-way, etc. are considered at risk to change until GAD and accompanying performance checks are approved by the city. At a minimum, GAD plans shall extend to where improvements conform with existing street infrastructure or proposed street typical, whichever is less, but not be less than the functional area of the intersection based on roundabout geometric features and roundabout design influence areas defined by the performance checks. Geometric approval drawing, GAD, submittals shall include the following elements: a completed roundabout submittal checklist. B. GAD roll plot. The format of the GAD deliverable shall be a single sheet roll plot of the project area. All improvements shall be based on surveyed right-of-way boundary and topography. This roll plot shall include at a minimum the following: 1. Horizontal layout. I. Horizontal control and project stationing with general, informational CA layouts and dimensions of the improvements. 2. Identify the horizontal design limits of curb geometry, lane widths, channelization, lane transitions, pavement markings, sight lines, and right-of-way. 3. Typical sections of each leg, the roundabout circulatory roadway, and central island. 4. Line work for the existing utilities and preliminary drainage improvements. 2. Vertical layout coordination with the city may be necessary to determine the need for preliminary roadway profiles and grading of the roundabout based on existing site conditions and topography to geometric approval of the roundabout. LF vertical design information is deemed necessary. The following vertical elements are to be included: roundabout City of Folsom XX9 FIFI and FTT center line and curb profiles. IL preliminary contour plan of the finished surface. 3. Identify drainage patterns, right-of-way, sight line, and driver comfort issues. C. Design performance checks. Design performance checks specific to vehicles navigating roundabout intersections shall be calculated and documented in a technical memorandum. Roundabout curb geometry and lane markings shall be documented with supporting calculations, in a manner that demonstrates the roundabout achieves target design values for estimated speeds, vehicle paths of travel, and sight lines. LF site conditions or other constraints require a deviation from guidance described in NCHRP Report 1043 Chapter 9, NCHRP Report 1043 Appendix A, and Section XX.6 Design Criteria. The deviation shall be identified in the technical memorandum along with a description as to why the engineer is requesting a deviation. The following design checks shall be calculated and documented. 1. Inscribed circle diameter, LCD. See Section XX.6 for design recommendations. 2 liters design vehicles. A. The geometry of the roundabout shall be verified using AutoTurn, AutoTrack, or similar truck turning template software that utilizes OSHTO 201-8 vehicle turn templates or approved equal. B. Design designation of vehicles. I. Design 2. Accommodate C. Swept path and tire tracking for design vehicles. D. Turning movements for each approach, left turn, through movement, and right turn, shall be presented as part of conceptual and/or preliminary engineering design. E. Speed of vehicle simulation. Specify if a set speed was used or identify the minimum speed and location if a simulation was used. T. U-turns may also be required by the city on a case-by-case basis. Coordinate with the city engineer for review and approval of the selected design vehicle and accommodation vehicle for each intersection. GLF oversized overweight, OSOW, vehicles are anticipated, turning movement checks for OSOWs shall be included. Consideration shall be given to OSOW for temporary construction traffic of future development phases after construction of the roundabout. 2 assumptions for future construction traffic demand and alternative access for vehicles larger than the capacity of the roundabout shall be documented. Roundabout City of Folsom XX10 FIFI and FT3. Coordination with city staff is required. 3. Fastest path speed performance checks, R1, R5. The spline technique for path and arc measurements shall be according to the NCHRP Research Report 1.043, Appendix AB. The node placement of the spline creation shall be checked to avoid an improper spline path. 4 liters intersection site distance. Intersection site distance shall be drawn according to the NCHRP Research Report 1043, Chapter 9.5. Design headway, T shall be assumed as 5.0 seconds. NCHRP Research Report 1043, Appendix A.2 shall be referenced for supplemental guidance related to roundabout intersection site distance. 5. Stopping site distance. Entry and exit path overlap for multi-lane roundabouts. Refer to Appendix A.3, B Wisconsin. Facilities Development Manual, Section 30.5.18 shall be referenced for guidance on checking for path overlap within multi-lane roundabouts. C. Tangent checks shall be performed, which requires pavement markings. 6. Visibility to left, view angle. See Figure XX, entering vehicle site angle, angles greater than L05 degrees will not be accepted. D. Plans, specifications, and estimate L. In addition to the plans content identified in section L4.2.L, for roundabout intersections the additional plans content and sheets shall include but not be limited to the following: main alignment and sub-alignments to place splitter islands and the central island grading design plans consisting of pavement elevations called out along edge of pavement and toe of truck apron, central island, at 10 feet intervals or at grade breaks and transitions. The maximum rate of change between cross slopes should not exceed 0.5% measured in any 25 feet interval. Cross slopes between T.so/o and 2.5 yo are preferred. Vertical profiles for each sub-alignment or splitter islands, outside edge of pavement and toe of truck apron, central island, pedestrian crossing and bicycle path/facility plans details and grading detail in accordance with NCHRP L043 pavement marking layout, fully dimensioned for use in annual maintenance. Composite sight line. Exhibit with proposed landscape and hardscape features. Mature plant heights. Low impact development, LLD, features storm water treatment roundabout City of Folsom XX11 FFI number Q and FFIYO artwork. Monument signs. Walls. Fences. Signs and poles within intersection sight lines. XX.5 Design criteria. Roundabout design uses a performance-based decision-making approach. Clear definitions and intended project outcomes are determined prior to design to establish performance measures used to evaluate the designs. Roundabout design is an iterative process aimed at optimizing the geometry to be in accordance with performance targets. Performance targets consist of speed control, sight distance, path alignment, design vehicle consideration, and multimodal accommodations. Deviations from typical parameters in roundabout designs are anticipated such that the performance checks used to evaluate the design are met. IIRL Reli ILTIL, ICD size design vehicle circulatory roadway width entry radius tab DXX.1 geometric day and criteria mini roundabout 60 feet to 100 feet single lane roundabout 90 feet to 140 feet multi-lane roundabout 150 to 220 feet design vehicle, STAA. California Trucks Check Vehicle, OSOW based on single trip permit records travel way stay in lane, bus 45. Single lane, 16 to 20 feet 2 lane, 28 to 32 feet 3 lane, 42 to 48 feet, 65 feet to 110 feet depending on truck space requirement and geometric speed control. Exit radius, entry width, landscaped buffer width 200 to 500 feet depending on design variables and project objectives based on design vehicles and geometric speed control requirements based on design vehicles and geometric speed control requirements. 2 feet minimum, 5 feet preferred buffer not required adjacent to right turn bypass lanes, multi-use path. Width centrals, land treatment 8 feet minimum, 10 to 12 feet preferred, 3.5 to 6 feet mound. Slope not to exceed 6:1, HV, landscaped side-by-side vehicle accommodations, straddle lanes, STAA, California trucks, and OSOW. Stay in lane, bus 45. Refer to Design Vehicles section for more information. Entry and exit tangents, multi-lane path overlap tangents, entry, 80 feet minimum, exit, 40 to 60 feet, CNCHRP 1043, Exhibit A.18, Roundabout City of Folsom XX12 Draft Tab DXX.2 Fastest Path RON Speed Estimation Equation calculated using Equation 3 to 8 in OSHTO Green Book. Super elevation assumed TOG 2%/2%. Side friction factor interpolated from Table 3 to 7 in OSHTO Green Book. Deceleration equation, acceleration equation V equals INFL TID plus T verbo L.47 V Z asterisk 2 a 12 dpvr equals entry speed V2 equals circulatory speed AI2 deceleration dash 4.2 feet slash S21 D12 equals DIST between V1 and V2 VT equals min LRIL.JL at FFI VS equals exit speed VZ equals circulatory speed AZA equals acceleration 6.9 feet slash SZDZS equals DIST between VZ and VG. Table XX3 fastest path ASUM NS and methodo maximum fastest path entry speeds, speed consistency, fastest path offset distances, length of radii to measure best fit curve. Fastest path spline construction technique, single lane entry, 23 miles per hour preferred, 25 miles per hour max, multi-lane entry, 28 miles per hour preferred, 30 mph max bypass lane, free right turn lane, 25 miles per hour max / 20 miles per hour, 10 to 15 miles per hour between consecutive geometric elements, 5 feet from a raised curb face, 5 feet from roadway center line of opposing lanes, 3 feet from painted edge line. Operating speed SIXS to 80 feet. NCHRP 1043 Exhibits 9.7 and 9.8 Tab DXX.4 STO SIHT Distance Uation Stopping Site Distance Equation D equals SSD foot T equals perception. Reaction time, 2.5 SV equals design speed, mpha equals deceleration, LL.2 TT/S2D equals 1.47 VT plus 1.075 VZO. Roundabout City of Folsom XX13 Draft Stoppy Tab DXX.S Distance ASUM Ions and Methodol ES Driver I and Object Heights Approach SSD Circulating SSD Exit SSD Driver I Height equals 3.5 feet, Object Height equals 2 feet. V assumed to be based on posted speed limit or approach geometry. SSD for V4 speed, SSD for V5 speed. Tab DXXG intersection SHT distance TSD uations circulating leg length VCirc equals VA conflicting speed TE equals critical headway 5.0 SBZ equals L4 TVSBSTS intersection. Tab DXX.7 distance LSD ASUM S and Methodol ESISD at yield line ISD in advance of yield line. Length of approach leg assumed to be 14.5 feet from yield line for BR and BZ distances. Length of approach leg set at 50 feet maximum and length conflicting leg limited to 50 feet. Tab DXX.8 Angle of visibions and ES view angle, see figure XX, entering vehicle seat anneal, intersection angle design check assumption 75 degrees minimum. The view angle of the entering vehicle is checked to ensure that a driver at the yield line, turning their head no more than L05 degrees, can see any oncoming, entering or circulating vehicles. Preferable for approaches to intersect at perpendicular or near perpendicular intersection angles to improve entry speeds and design vehicle paths. View angle between the trajectory of the vehicle and line of sight for a driver, 14.5 feet behind the entrance line, to see an oncoming vehicle roundabout City of Folsom XX14 pedestrian sight line draft table XX.9 pedestrian SHT lines provide sight distance for a pedestrian to see a driver entering the roundabout, making a through movement and driving a fastest path, or operating speed, alignment through the roundabout. Providing the minimum sight distance allows the pedestrian to cross at normal walking speeds with adequate time to clear the crosswalk before the advancing vehicle arrives. Roundabout City of Folsom XXL5 Roundabout Submittal Checklist Project Name, Date, Intersection Submittal City Designer Reviewer Concept Development and Refinement Initials Design concepts will be prepared based on conformance requirements with the existing roadways. Concept layouts will be developed that depict various intersection traffic control options and combinations to visualize the impacts to existing AKES, erosions, elements, onto entities to a level LE construction costs. Size and location of intersection relative to right-of-way and geometric constraints roadway realignments approach and departure alignment design speed, design vehicle and sight line considerations local access impacts and circulation truck turning evaluation using auto-turn travel paths for bicyclists and pedestrians continuity for pedestrian travel and access to transit facilities estimated functional area of intersection based on geometric features and design influence areas identify the number of approach, departure, and circulatory lanes channelization and striping strategies for circulating lanes and design vehicle accommodation a roved date geometric approval drawings develop preliminary engineering drawings on design check calculations to obtain geometric approval of the preferred concept. Preliminary engineering plans or assumed to extend to the point where the improvements conform with existing street infrastructure or proposed street typical section, whichever is less. Horizontal and check calculations identify the horizontal design limits of curb geometry, lane widths, channelization, lane transitions, pavement markings, and CT lines create typical sections of each leg, the roundabout circulatory roadway, and central island calculate and document, fastest path estimation for R1 through R5 swept path and tire tracking for design vehicles, various design vehicles, intersection angle of visibility intersection sight distance, assume TC equals 5.0 seconds, stoppance. Sight distance NCE path over law estimation for multi-lane entries and residential prelimina vertical center line and curb lay preliminary contour plan of the finished surface identify drainage patterns, right of way, sight line, and driver comfort issues a roved date final day final horizontal and vertical designs composite sight line exhibit with proposed landscape and hardscape features. Mature plant heights, artwork, monument signs, walls, fences, signs, and poles within intersection sight lines. Illumination map / photometric plan final design check calculations proved date, roundabout City of Folsom XX16 draft roundabout City of Folsom XXT7 attachment 3 Kimley Horn Folsom roundabout drawing CONC sidewalk, 8 thick. Tip buffer colored and stamped concrete type 2 curb and gutter per City of Folsom standard plans RD01 circulatory roadway a optional parking lane mountable central island with type RA curb and gutter detail per RB20 raised splitter island with type 5 curb per City of Folsom standard plan RD01 notes, this detail represents the base options available in design as proposed by the engineer on record. This is not meant to be an exhaustive or comprehensive list of features, but rather a base requirement. Draft IO-enting pattern ADA compliant curb ramp per City of Folsom standard plan RD04 raised splitter island with type 5 curb per City of Folsom standard plan RD.01 City of Folsom mini roundabout, PHYSI Calchar Act RISD CS scale, date, RB01 ton scrite bed diameter, 45 to 90 feet, sidewalk and buffer OOLF varies FZ 6.3 ZU. JLO Central Island E16 Circulatory Roadway 10, Plain PC Concrete CL3 Concrete, Stamped and Colored Type RA Curb and Gutter Detail per RB20 Roundabout Typical Section N.T.S. Type 5 Curb per City of Folsom Standard Plan RD011212.S, $VIROS, I6, Min, to provide detectable warning crosswalk minimage raised splitter island inset a NTSCONC sidewalk. 8 thick buffer type 2 curb and gutter City of Folsom standard plan RD01 submission requirements, in accordance with the guidance and provisions of these displays, the city requires the submission of a set of design checks that includes 1. Design vehicle swept paths 2. Geometric speed checks 3. Sight distance checks at center of Central Island TABCT Type RA curb and gutter detail per RB 20 0% _2% T2 General notes Central Island inset BNTS 1. Mini roundabouts, due to the smaller circle size. Geometric entry path deflection at mini roundabouts is more challenging, therefore, approach curvature typically governs entry speed, along with left offset. Deflection can be achieved through approach curvature, chicanes, and slash or longer splitter islands. These features also contribute to recognition of the roundabout ahead so that drivers may decelerate in advance of the entry point. Use this standard for mini roundabouts where circulatory roadway paving is asphalt or concrete and approach speeds are 35 miles per hour. 3. See Inset A for Splitter Island dimensions. City of Folsom MLNL roundabout, details DR/FT scale, date, RB02 at R1-235 x 36 x 36 optional location Q at MLRMLLT_JDLLLR1-612 x 36 fluorescent yellow green at O at MR4-724 x 30 W11-2, W167 P30 x 30, 24 x 12 W2-630 x 30 shared roadway bicycle marking per Caltrans Standard Plan A24C detail 278 per Caltrans Standard Plans A20B Type I100 Aero per Caltrans Standard Plans A24A on street parking where applicable detail 27 per Caltrans Standard Plans A20B pavement marking hatching 75 minutes entrance line detail per RB19 crosswalk detail per RB19 notes. This detail is intended to provide some guidance on design and conform related to street cross-sections, bicycle and pedestrian interface, on-street parking, and striping. It is the responsibility of the design engineer to adequately design those components to address site-specific conditions. Draft Detail 278 per Caltrans Standard Plans 420B Detail 25 per Caltrans Standard Plans A20B City of Folsom M in Iro and Dabout. Signing and marking scale, date, RB03 detectable warning strip buffer with ADA-compliant detectability landscape Central Island mounted at 6:1 inscribed circle diameter, RCD, 90 to 180 truck apron 10 to 14 FOC 8:1 taper exit bike ramp detail per RB22 entry bike ramp detail per RB21 50 to crosswalk or 100 to yield line entry radius 40, 90. RE-PE2 curb and gutter per City of Folsom Standard Plans RD01 lighting in compliance with IES RP.8-14, IES 19-08. Poles should be placed for vertical luminance and positive contrast. Pew for street light placement behind sidewalk may be required. Exit width 16 min, 18 face of curb, FOC, R = 3 tip. Departure width 16, min. 18 FOC, 12 RF curbed 1 SLDE notes. This detail represents the base options available in design as proposed by the engineer on record. This is not meant to be an exhaustive or comprehensive list of features, but rather a base requirement. Draft 10 Shared Use Path Type 5 Curb per City of Folsom Standard Plans RDO. Landscape Buffer 2. Unvegetated. Type RA curb and gutter detail per RB.20 truck blister 4 height, circulatory road 18.to20 FOC crosswalk 2025 from yield line pedestrian crossing min pedestrian refuge 6 splitter island MTN.4 FOC type 5 curb per City of Folsom Standard Plans RD01 shared roadway bicycle marking per Caltrans Standard Plan A24C, optional, entry WRDTH 16 MRN, 18 FOC. R = 1 tip approach WTDTH 16 MLN. 18 FOC, 12 LF curbed one side with paved shoulder City of Folsom SINGLE Laniro and Dabout, PHYSI Calchar Act RISD CS scale, date, RB046:1, tip, center of roundabout Central Island 6, 1, tip truck apron varies R%, tip, T% RO2% 18X% DLA. Deformed TRE bars 18C to C circulatory roadway varies RN 14.1%, RYP 7% to 2% typical border area 12.76 2% FYP /18x% DLA. Deformed tie bars 18C to C type 5 curb per City of Folsom Standard Plans RD016 max height above top of curb asphalt pavement graded aggregate base type RA curb and gutter detail per RB20 colored and stamped concrete pavement, 10 tip slab thickness sidewalks 5.10 buffer, 6 preferred, 2 min sod or concrete, Omahaton type 2 curb and gutter per City of Folsom Standard Plans RD01 geometry definitions. 1 inscribed circle diameter, measure of the size of a roundabout. Governed by number of entry and exit lanes, size of design vehicle, and property constraints. 2. Circulatory road, the minimum width LS generally equal to the widest entry. -3. Landscaped central island, a central non-FNIRU area. Sightlines shall be maintained around the outside, but BLOCKEQ through _H the middle using mounding and landscaping. 4. Truck apron, a traversable area for trucks necessary for single-lane roundabouts to avoid a very wide circulatory road or small central island. Color should be sunset rose. 5. Entry radius, the smallest curb radius before or at the yield line. Not the same as entry path radius or deflection. 6. Entry width, width at the roundabout entrance. Measured to curb face. Must be sized to accommodate design vehicle, yet not be overly wide at single-lane roundabouts. The distance over which the approach widens to the entry is the flare length. 7. Exit width, width at the roundabout exit, measured to curb face. Exit width should be as wide as the circulatory roadway then tapered downstream. 8. Splitter island, directs drivers to CIRCU late QNTER clockwise, and provides refuge area for pedestrians. 9. Pedestrian crossing, two-stage crossing located 1 to 2 car lengths Q540 on exits LF staggered, behind the VRELORLRTE. Low dot detectable warning strip, placed perpendicular to the travel way. 11. Truck blister, may be necessary at outside curb radii to accommodate larger design vehicles. Stepped curb height shall be 4. Concrete surface to be the same as the truck apron in depth and color. Truck blister should not pass thorough crosswalks. Submission requirements. In accordance with the guidance and provisions of these displays, the City requires the submission of a set of design checks that includes 1. Design vehicle swept paths 2. Geometric speed checks 3. Sight distance checks principles, single lane and compact roundabouts. The design of a single-lane roundabout should have enough entry path deflection to create balanced speeds through the roundabout. The use of left offset helps in reducing speeds in advance of the entry line. THLSLS especially important for compact roundabouts. Draft City of Folsom SINGLE Lani Roundabout, details scale, date. RB05 entrance line detail per RB19 R61 are mounted 4 above pavement surface to the bottom of the sign at R61 art to T $T Asterisk approach directional signage with street names is required, subject to Reviewand approval by the City of Folsom truck blister. Engineering judgment is typically used for R1-2 placement crosswalk detail per R8.19, sign no wider than 48. D11E may be used for roads that share a route number. M. Series signs may be used for state routes at D1-1. Place as appropriate for crossed. Sign color should be fluorescent yellow-green. R1-5 series sign should not be used as a replacement W11-2 W167 PR3-17 TR. TLLT /detail 278 per Caltrans Standard Plans A20B. Right. Side assembly oriented VR1-2 detail 39A per perpendicular to curb line. Optional left side assembly oriented based on upstream stopping sight distance visible. Caltrans Standard Plans A20DT10_R3-17 place only where bike ER317BP lane is designated. If local 24 yellow trans line place 10 from LR4-7 Spilterts land nose OM1-3-18 IMA detail 25 per Caltrans Standard Plans A20B. R2-1 can be red WHENL speed LRMRRS are consistent LLLLJ on all approaches LR2-1 LM_FFIL detail 278 per Caltrans standard plans A2OB notes. This detail is intended to provide some guidance on design and conform related to street cross sections, bicycle and pedestrian interface, on-street parking, and striping. It is the responsibility of the engineer to adequately design those components to address site-specific conditions. Draft MW2-6W131P, assembly used when approach speed is 40 miles per hour or greater or the yield sign is not readily visible. Place according to Table 2C4 in MUC using OMPH for Condition B. Add a second W2-620 min before the D1.5 if a horizontal or vertical curve restricts sight distance. W131P can range from 15 to 25 miles per hour. City of Folsom Single Lani Row and Dabout. Signing and marking scale, date, RB06 detectable warning strip inscribed circle diameter, RCD. 1S0 RO200 landscaped central island mounted at 6:1 buffer with ADA compliant detectability truck apron 10 to 14, FOC exit bike ramp detail per RB22 UF/I8:1 taper TI/entry bike ramp detail per RB21 entry radius 100 lighting in compliance with IES RP 8-14, IES 19-08, poles should be placed for vertical luminance and positive contrast. Pew for street light placement behind sidewalk may be required. Exit width 28 min, 30 face of curb, FOC, R equals 3 tip. I1B10 shared use path landscape buffer 2, unvegetated, type RA curb and gutter detail per RB20A/IA circulatory road 11 to 12 street PE to stripe crosswalk 2025 from yield line splitter island MRN.4 FOC_I, TR5 wide buffer pedestrian crossing min pedestrian refuge 6 circulating exit buffer striping detail per R8.19 type 2 curb and gutter per City of Folsom standard plans RD01 Lu. Radius II entry WTDTH 28 MLN, 30 FOC, R equals L tip 80 buffer length departure width 22 MRN, 24 FOC, 4. Wide buffer, 1 OC20 buffer transition length notes. This detail represents the base options available in design as proposed by the engineer on record. This is not meant to be an exhaustive or comprehensive list of features, but rather a base requirement. Draft approach WTDTH 28 MLN, 30 FOC, 24 LF curbed one side with paved shoulder. City of Folsom MULTI Lani Roon Dabout, Physical characteristics CS scale, date, RB07, signs should be no wider than 48, DL1E may be used for roads that share a route number at D1-1 crosswalk detail per R8.19 detail 40 per Caltrans standard plans A20DSTGN no WD11E may TH at char E. Place as appropriate for crossroom, sign color should be fluorescent yellow-green. R1-5 series sign should not be used as a replacement. W11-2 W167 PER3-17 ILT FFL detail 25 per Caltrans standard plans A20B detail 9 per Caltrans 5 standard plans A20A. R21CA and B when EL speed limits are consistent. R2-1 on all approaches _L detail 278 per Caltrans standard plans A20B place 10 from LR4-7 SPLTTTER sland nose LOM1-3-18 draft T, assembly used when approach speed is 40 miles per hour or greater or the yield sign is not readily visible. Place according to Table 2C4 in MUC using OMPH for Condition B, add a second W2-5200 min before the D1-5 if a horizontal or vertical curve restricts sight distance. W131P can range from 15 to 25 miles per hour. W2-6 W131PE at TR61 are mounted 4 above pavement surface to the bottom of the sign entrance line detail per RB19 entry buffer striping detail per RB19. Right side assembly oriented VR1-2 perpendicular to curb line, left side sign position based O stopping sight distance repeat R3-8 series sign, optional, R3-17, OTL R317 BP place sign on entry to prevent truck.car conflict R3-8 series. R3-8 SICN should not be placed near the first pavement marquee NG arrows. Signs may be repeated D13DF Peonia Saint E6 Ave asterisk, 100.min 200 max, setback from yield point, D12D can be used for roundabouts with 3 legs, use only on collector and arterial roads, MUCT signage subject to review and approval by the city engineer notes. This detail is intended to provide some guidance on design and conform related to street cross-sections, bicycle and pedestrian interface, on-street parking, and striping. IT-15 The responsibility of the design engineer to adequately design those components to address site-specific conditions. City of Folsom multi-lane roundabout signing and marking scale, date, RB08A tangent to entry curve B tangent to paint line C tangent to exit curve method for checking path overlay /IIA / typically 5. Optimal tangent point near yield line tangent should extend to entry /B /lane line /II /C tangent should extend to entry RT equals large radius small radius to be updated based on multi-lane buffer design draft entry design to minimize path overlap /I natural paths of vehicles directed into proper circulatory lanes at yield line /II / City of Folsom MULTI lane roundabout, entry design scale, date, RB09 general note, design shown is typical for illustration only. Approximately 165. From the ICD R153 to painted center line when there is no splitter island at 165/65, 80. R5 through right turn left turn note, offset dimensions are from face of curb notes, 1. R1, R2, R3 path to follow natural spline. 2 geometric entry speed usually governed by R1 radius, but may be governed by R5 radius. 3 on designs that cannot achieve deflection using central island and approach alignment offset to the left of center line, add reverse curves on the approach splitter island. Separated by a short tangent soft to IUFT. Approach curve radii to be sized using OSHTO table 3 to 13, low speed urban design to avoid needing super elevation. Draft III left offset R4S, CRNSETA, /IR255 R3 City of Folsom single lane roundabout, fast path scale, date, RB105 offset LE2. Offset 5, offset at vertical curb N.T.S submission requirements. In accordance with the guidance and provisions of these displays, the city requires the submission of a set of design checks that includes 1. Design vehicle swept path south 2. Geometric speed checks 3. Sight distance checks 2. Offset 5. Offset ELNT 5. Offset at mountable curb N.T.S splined fast path radius recommended radius for single lane roundabout, FT, recommended radius for mini roundabout, FT, recommended speed. FTR1 entry 120 FT to 165 feet 100 FT to 165 feet 22 miles per hour to 24 miles per hour R2 circulating R3 exit R4 left turn R5 right turn TOF to 120 FT 120 feet to 300 FT asterisk truck apron R, plus 5 feet TOF to 100 FT TOF to 100 FT GOF to 150 FT Central Island R plus 5 feet 50 FT to 90 FT within LOMPH to 15 miles per hour differential between successive curves asterisk where pedestrian use of an exit crosswalk is frequent, greater than 25 pedestrians per hour, adjust exit radii to reduce the R3 to 200 feet exit speed should not be too slow. Geometric entry path deflection is best represented by a continuous spline, a curve with constantly changing radii, because this most closely approximates how a vehicle traces its fastest path through a roundabout. A spline also allows analysts to draw the smoothest, most natural vehicular path. IT is drawn from a starting point approximately 165 feet in advance of the entry line, with an offset of 5 feet from curbs, 5 feet from a center line, and 3 feet from other pavement markings, such as a painted median or 2-way left turn lane. The critical entry path radius, referred to as R1, occurs over the spline for 55 feet to 80 feet, near the yield point, where the tightest radius exists. In most cases, speed control on entry is the most important fastest path criteria for all roundabout configurations. In addition, if a location has a significant pedestrian count greater than 25 pedestrians per hour, steps should be taken to rockertat lower vet-clee speeds at all pedestrian conflict areas, including exit speeds from the roundabout. When checking exit speeds, both the predictive method, based on the R3 exit path radius, and NCHRP 1043 equation 9.7 which accounts for acceleration from R2 to R3 should be checked. Draft City of Folsom Single Laniro and Dabout, Fast Path Details Scale, Date. RB11 Notes, TR1, R2, R3 Path to follow natural spline. 2 Geometric entry speed usually governed by R1 radius, but may be governed by R5 radius. 3 On designs that can achieve deflection using central island and approach alignment offset to the left of center line, add reverse curves on the approach splitter island, separated by a short tangent SOFT-TO10OFT, approach curve radii to be sized using OSHTO table 3 to 1.3, low-speed urban design to avoid needing super elevation. Approximately 165 from the ICDJ 6580, through right turn left turn note, offset dimensions are from face of curb, 3 ton /draft R1JJ 4/II /RR/II .ATLSUA, R5 /R3 City of Folsom MULTI Laniro and Dabout, Fast Paths $5 T, R Scale, Date, RB12 Spline Fast Path Radius Recommended Radius for Multi-Lane Roundabout, FT, Recommended Speed, MPH, R. Entry 175 feet to 240 ft 22 miles per hour to 24 miles per hour R2 Circulating R3 Exit R4 Left Turn Toft to 170 ft 120 feet to 300 ft Truck Capron R plus SFT within LOMPH to 15 miles per hour Differential between successive curves R5 Right Turn Toft to 170 ft where pedestrian use of an exit crosswalk is frequent, greater than 25 pedestrians per hour. Adjust exit radii to reduce the R3 to 200 ft. Exit speed should not be too slow. Submission requirements. In accordance with the guidance and provisions of these displays, the City requires the submission of a set of design checks that includes 1. Design vehicle swept paths 2. Geometric speed checks 3. Sight distance checks Geometric entry path deflection is best represented by a continuous spline, a curve with constantly changing radii, because this most closely approximates how a vehicle traces its fastest path through a roundabout. A spline also allows analysts to draw the smoothest, most natural vehicular path. RRRs run from a starting pot NT approximately 165 feet in advance of the entry line, with an offset of 5 feet from curbs, 5 feet from a center line, and 3 feet from other pavement markings, such as a painted median or two-way left turn lane. The critical entry path radius, referred to as R1, occurs over the spline for 65 feet to 80 feet, near the yield point, where the tightest radius exists. In most cases, speed control on entry is the most important fastest path criteria for all roundabout configurations. In addition, if a location has a significant pedestrian count, greater than 25 pedestrians per hour, steps should be taken to facilitate lower vehicle speeds at all pedestrian conflict areas, including exit speeds from the roundabout. When checking exit speeds, both the predictive method, based on the R3 exit path radius, and NCHRP 1043 equation 9.7 which accounts for acceleration renov RZ to R3, should be checked. Draft City of Folsom MULTI Laniro and Dabout, Fast Path Details Scale, Date, RB13 DSSD Sropong Sight Distance related to approaching design speed Approach stopping sight distance Center of entry at yield line Center of far right lane or 6 max from right edge of lane DSSO $0, to YIELD POI NT, DTO *SSD values based on approach posted speed in OSHTO Chapter 3.2 Site distance stopping site distance to THE downstream crosswalk TIAQB fast path, R5, IFGENT DSSD crosswalk SSD for Rs. A. Legend ITR.L site envelope limited planting height area dr/aft City of Folsom Sig HT distance GUI dance, approach and stopping scale, date. RB14 circulating stopping site distance LLLD equals circulatory stopping SSO 516P1 distance based on circulating path radius / speed inner landscaping area circulating vehicle 1AARLIT conflicting circulating vehicle entering and circulating intersection site distance conflicting approach vehicle D2 equals circulating stream distance, based on S. Second critical gap SSD values based on approach posted speed in OSHTO Chapter 3.2 site distance conflicting circulating vehicle ATTITAIA approach IVET ICLE legend FFIQ_FFI site envelope limited planting height area draft City of Folsom site distance GUI dance, circulating and D intersection scale, date. RB15 vertical site distance edge of circulatory roadway max 0.5% profile grade I at crosswalk 2 TMLN crest VC for posted speed of approach 3.5 avoiding poor stopping site. Distance pedestrian site distance ATTL, height of I equals 3.5 height of car equals 3.5 AITTIT ped SDT note. Pedestrian site distance to be calculated using the equation below and measured along the THRS fast path. Vertical checks are to use an I height of 3.5 and a car height of 3.5. PEDSD equals 1.47 SGL plus T, where PEDSD equals pedestrian crossing site distance, foot, S equals design speed, mph, L equals crossing distance, foot, SP equals average pedestrian walking speed, foot/S. Default equals 3.5 feet /STS equals pedestrian start up and end clearance time, S. Default equals 3.0 SI legend site envelope limited planting height area Li TTT through fastest path draft City of Folsom site distance guidance, vertical and D pedestrian scale, date. RB16 entering vehicle site angle H /R.T4 LLI /TLLG /IITL -2L. Legend sight line is O greater than 90 vehicle at yield sight line is less than 75 sight line is between 90 and 75 note, view angle shown from outside lane, as IT has the most restricted line of sight. A draft City of Folsom site to the left guidance scale, date, RB17 TTRLTTLLTIIIT. /AA a TTIGN sight line is greater than 90 vehicle at yield sight line is less than 75 sight line is between 90 and 75 note, view angle shown from outside lane, as IT has the most restricted line of sight. Draft City of Folsom site to the left guidance, bypass LAN E scale, date, RB18 white pavement marking 220 crosswalk detail NTSRI equals F reflectors and D/or TH thermoplastic IT2TI / white pavement marking entrance line detail N.T.S, 0 center of 2-RN WRRHQ, circulating exit buffer striping detail N.T.S, S sold white tine POO equals FTE entry buffer striping detail N.Ts draft City of Folsom striping details scale, date, RB19 bike lane standard entry bike ramp 58:11 2025 bypass entry bike ramp 50 minimum 25. Minimum draft City of Folsom entry bike ramp details scale, date, RB21 standard exit bike ramp varies, 2025 bypass exit bike ramp draft City of Folsom exit bike ramp details scale, date, RB22.